Energy for your family and your home. Make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
Is Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Bradley Beal's set to leave the desert for Hollywood. ESPN's Shams Charania is reporting the shooting guards agreed to a buyout with the Suns. Plans to join the Clippers, 2-year, $11 million deal with a player option after clearing waivers. Beal's giving back nearly $14 million of the $110 million on the final 2 years of his contract to complete the buyout with Phoenix. The move allows Beal to serve as a major addition to a playoff contender in the West and gives the Suns team-building flexibility, explained Shams.
Phoenix Suns are now officially fully out of the first and second apron. They can essentially decide, do they want to be a luxury tax team? They can even go fully out of the luxury tax this offseason. They also now unfreeze some of their draft picks, so they're going to have more tradable draft picks moving forward. And they'll have some money, too. They're going to have $7 or $8 million with their mid-level.
WNBA, Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark questionable against the New York Liberty tonight due to a right groin injury. Scottie Scheffler, betting favorite to win the Open Championship, plus 550 according to ESPN Bet Lines. Rory McIlroy's the next best odds at plus 750.
Your summer drink is here. Twisted Tea is a smooth, refreshing, hard iced tea with 5% alcohol, making it the perfect drink to take any day this summer to the next level. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. We are presented each and every Wednesday by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Show Up and Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. We kick off day 3 from Radio Row, or what they call it now, Digital Drive, here at SEC Football Media Days. And we have the great pleasure to start the show today with Mr. College Football, Tony Barnhart, stepping aboard with us. How are you, sir?
It is all good, guys. I can't believe we're at the end of day 3. Oh, my goodness.
Just when we get comfortable, then they kick us out.
Then absolutely. They move on. They move on. But we know football is coming now. So that's the great thing coming out of these meetings. And I know Saturday when I'm in the Publix buying stuff for Mrs. Barnhart, somebody's going to come up to me and says, man, you guys must have had a blast at the SEC Media Days. I said, we always do. So
what you've been coming to this for as long as they've had the event, I would presume?
1989 was my first one.
What is Like for me, I love getting to talk to the players from other schools that I otherwise would never have a chance to talk to. I just talked to Caleb Banks, for example, from Florida, huge defensive lineman, great player, and we got to just shoot the bull for a few minutes, and that's always interesting for me. What about for you?
I enjoy talking to the players. I know these coaches well enough now that somehow if they've got a little minute, I'll say, hey, let's go over here and talk and visit for a while. They're not as free to do that as they used to be. Me and Wes Durham would grab Nick Saban and go off into another room so nobody could see us and talk to him. You get to see the coaches, you get to see the players, you get to have the energy in the room because football. Football, life is there's a different pace to life during football season than not football season, okay? And
you said Mrs. Barnhart, Mrs. Moscona knows it as well.
Absolutely. But it's fun, and people wonder why grown men still do this. But hey, what are we going to do? Like get a real job? I mean,
I use the line all the time, Tony. As long as they keep paying me to sit on my ass and talk about sports, maybe one day I'll grow up and get a real job, but I'll keep doing this. Such
a deal.
Yeah, it is. It's quite good. I know you're always here with on behalf of the Dodd Trophy. Would love to talk about that a little bit. I also when I think about you and your career, I just think of what season is this going to be for you covering college football?
This is number 50.
Okay, so I mean, half a century. Like the things you've seen. Like if I asked you a game, a memory, something LSU that first comes to mind, be in Tiger Stadium and Coach, what's the first thing that you think?
LSU, Florida, 2007. Incredible day when Les Miles went for it. Went 5 times, went on 4th down for it, went 5 for 5.
Yeah.
Jacob Hester and I have had a lot of conversations about that's the book that I'm doing, the LSU chapter. I'm doing a book where I have an essay on each of the 16 SEC venues and my favorite memory from that. And that game was absolutely incredible. What I will never forget, talking to the Louisiana State Trooper, the stadium was full. I said, there's probably 100,000 people inside the stadium. How many people are outside? I said, our count is 45,000. So that was an incredible year. LSU won the game. And then went on to stumble, and then went on to become the first team to win a national championship with 2 losses. I mean, so that's my first LSU memory always.
Our morning show is Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn. They sit in these 2 chairs, so they will love to know that that's the first thing that comes to your mind. What's the book going to be called?
The working title of the book is going to be published by the University of Georgia Press.
Okay.
They did my last book. Mr. College Football, 50 Years of SEC Memories.
Okay.
And that's the working title, and they're happy with it, and I'm happy with it.
Do we have a potential release date?
Well, I have sketched out how I want the book to go, but I'm spending this season going to as many campuses as I can get to to add more memories. And then when the national championship game is over, I will jump back with feet. I hope to have the manuscript to them by April. And maybe we can get it out towards the end of the year.
You know, Tony, and Tony Barnhart's our guest. One of the things I could ask you about Arch Manning and all this stuff, but you're a guy who's covered the SEC for 50 years. I'd rather sit here and listen to you tell me stories. I mean, if I asked you, maybe what was one, not that you're on a book tour, we can have these conversations later, but what was one that was maybe harder to come up with than others?
I think. Well, let's see, Vanderbilt. But I was at Vanderbilt in 1975 as a student when Georgia ran what we call the shoestring play against Vanderbilt, and ended up winning the game. It's funny. It's a funny memory. And then later on in the year, Georgia tried that same play in a bowl game against Arkansas, and it didn't work. It blew up in their face. But that was a little bit harder to come by. But the rest of them just sort of lend it to themselves. I mean, it's clear. Alabama, I went in May. I went and spent the day with Nick Saban, talking to him just about life and what it was like not being the head coach at the University of anywhere. And we had a great visit. He's a guy who is clearly happy, despite my good friend Greg McElroy and what he says. Yeah, he's very happy with the decision he made to get out.
What was that your big takeaway from your time spent with Coach Saban?
Yeah, it was just how he's in a good place. Now, what's interesting is they moved his office out of the football complex down to the south end of Bryant-Denny Stadium. That's the development part, which is a fancy word for that's the fundraising part. And so you go through, you walk through to get to Coach Saban's office. You walk through a meeting area, and there's portrait after painted portrait of couples and brothers and individuals that belong to the Bryant Foundation. Now you may ask, what do you need to do to be in the Bryant Foundation?
Well, Tony, what do you need to do to be in the Bryant Foundation?
You must give a total contribution in your lifetime of $1 million.
Okay.
And if you do that, you're in the Bryant Foundation. And there was a lot of people on the wall been given $1 million. It is intimidating. And he walked straight through that and into Coach Saban's office where they moved everything out of his other office, but he kept his desk. And his desk, let's put it this way, I showed the desk to a friend of mine. He says, I've seen boats smaller than that, okay? So it was and the thing of it, people don't know about Nick Saban. He has got an incredibly dry sense of humor, and he is actually funny. But I've known him long enough that he can kind of relax around me. But that's the Alabama entry, what that's all about.
That's probably, I think some of that dry sense of humor you alluded to has come through a little bit with his job on College Game Day.
Yes.
I think that is very humanizing.
Well, and that was the other thing he said. I said, you love being on College Game Day. He said, yeah, because it gives me, I'm about preparation. I've been preparing for games all of my life, and this scratches that itch. I can still prepare. And, oh, by the way, you talk to the game day people, nobody prepares like this dude. I mean, he knows. He just knows what's going on, and I love it because he cracks up the boys, because he'll draw something out there that you didn't expect.
Sure.
And sometimes it's a little racy, and he'll drop it out there, and I can see Herb Street like falling out of his chair because he didn't see it coming. So, no, it's every conference school. It's about my favorite memory of being there over here. Tennessee, I was on the way to Tennessee working for College Game Day on 9/11 when the towers, and I was supposed to shoot video for College Game Day because it was Florida-Tennessee week.
Sure.
And as soon as the second plane hit the tower, that's when we knew we were under attack. I'm calling Bristol. I said, guys, I'm halfway to Knoxville. I'm going to keep going because that's where the story is going to be, is what's going on in these venues where they're supposed to play football. Right. And I interviewed a guy by the name of Will Overstreet, who's a great defensive end for Tennessee. He shows up in his practice gear with a cell phone in his hand. His sister Leah works in Washington, D.C., and he cannot find her. And he's just scared to death. He ended up. I told him. I said, "Will, you don't have to do this. This is not that important." He said, "No, I want to do it." And I said, "Well, if that phone rings, you get up and go. No questions asked." He finally got a hold of Leah about 5 o'clock that afternoon. But I will never forget the sight of this big football player worried about his little sister holding the cell phone, waiting for it to ring.
Yeah. Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football. I'm so glad I asked you that question that led us down this path. But I know you're here to talk about the Dodd Trophy. We get the chance to do that every year. So fill us in on what's happening this year.
This year with the Dodd Trophy?
Yes, sir.
We just got back. One of the things that makes the Dodd Trophy unique, we've talked about this, is that when we present the Dodd Trophy to the winning coach, we don't have a banquet in Atlanta and ask him to come to Atlanta and we give it to him then. We sent a 15-person delegation to South Bend, Indiana, where we honored Coach Marcus Freeman, and that was really neat. Marcus Freeman sort of represents the kind of coach that we take, not only winning on the field, but scholarship, leadership, integrity, all those things, because we have all these metrics that we put together, and we were really pleased with the choice of Coach Marcus Freeman. And so this year, we've already released the watch list, and it's all the usual suspects are there. And every week we will have a Bobby Dodd Coach of the Week for a coach who had a big win or some sort of. I get asked to do a lot of these things, but this is the only award that I attach my name to, and I'm very proud to be a part of it for the last 15 years.
Well, it's always our pleasure. We get a few minutes with you here on Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. Here's to year 50 and 50 more. How about that?
I appreciate that.
Tony, we appreciate it. Thank you so much for the time.
Okay, Matt. You bet.
That is Mr. College Football, Tony Barnhart. I cannot wait to read that book. I cannot wait to read that book. Sometimes you come and you're not sure what direction a conversation will go, but I'm glad that one went the way it did. We'll have to let Hester and Flynn know what he said, although I have a feeling Jake may already know that. All right, it's After Further Review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. We are here at Media Row. Our coverage all week is presented by Parish Construction and Roofing. Remember, just a couple more days, Friday, we're giving away $10,000 cash. To enter, go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. We're also brought to you by Relief Windows, door siding. They do shutters as well, and Rev. Remember, Rev Business, let's rev.biz. It's After Further Review. We'll knock out a quick break. We will come back and continue. I mean, we are loaded. We are loaded up today here from Radio Row, and we will continue next on AFR.
After Further Review.
Man, I love telling you about Action Industries, a proud partner of LSU Athletics. Of course, Chuck and all of our friends over at Action Industries, as a proud partner of LSU Athletics, they are helping invest in LSU's success on the field, on the court, on the diamond, all baseball season long with the national champions. Every mound visit all season long was presented by Action Industries. So if you were listening to the radio broadcast or you're at the box, you heard it plenty. But our friends over at Action Industries, they've done incredible work for as long as I've been alive. They opened up shop back in 1982, 43 years, and they've done an amazing job of continuing to grow and expand while maintaining an exemplary safety record. You know as well as I do, you do not get hired to do work inside the fence if you don't have an exemplary safety record. They beat the industry standard, and they do awesome work, which is why they've been able to rely on repeat business year after year after year. It's Action Industries. Check them out online, Action Industries, a proud partner of LSU Athletics.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. Live from the 2025 SEC Football Media Days, powered by Parish Construction and Roofing. Enter now for your chance to win $10,000 cash at parishbuilt.com. Our coverage is also presented by Rev and Relief Windows.
Busy day here on day 3. Alabama and Mississippi State took their turns this morning. Florida and Oklahoma making the rounds right now. Did have a chance just a bit ago to visit with Caleb Banks, the standout defensive lineman from the University of Florida. We'll get to that conversation here in just a little bit. But I'll go back to the morning where Alabama and Kalen DeBoer led off the day. And listen, my feeling on Alabama, I think we all know. I've expressed that pretty openly for more than a year now. But it was interesting because Kalen DeBoer, by almost any other standard, had a nice first year at Alabama. He won 9 games. They were a hair away from a playoff appearance. And by almost any other standard, that's great, a great first year. But it's not at Alabama. And so how do you to meet that standard? And it's one of the things when Kalen DeBoer was meeting with reporters today, as he opened up his remarks, he talked about the themes of his second year in Tuscaloosa, which are pretty clear what those expectations are.
Familiarity has been a word that's been used a lot already this morning with different interviews. That's great. It helps you feel good about where your families live in and what those routines are. That's important to me and our success. And I think the common word also would be continuity. It starts with our coaching staff. Really one change on the defensive side of the ball, and then the addition of Ryan Grubb on the offensive side. Everyone else, not just the position coaches, but quality control coaches, graduate assistants, recruiting staff, strength and conditioning, training room. We really had no turnover in all those areas. And so I think that says a lot about the belief and the excitement of what lies ahead. That trickles down to your players. The leadership from the staff is there, but really the culture that we want to try to exude, try to have, it comes to life through our players, and they are making that happen. I can't tell you how impressed I've been with them just focusing on the main thing, and that's the work.
It feels like a good bit of coach speak there, but what they certainly have returning is talent on defense. They return 13 starters, Alabama does, 6 on the offensive side, 7 on the defensive side. And, a lot of it is in that front. LT Overton on the defensive line, Deontay Lawson, who is here today as well at linebacker, cornerback Damani Jones, safety Keon Sabb is back. So that secondary and the offensive line are the two areas where they feel, or I should say, are the areas where they feel like they're very, very confident and comfortable in who they have coming back. The big problem for Alabama is a problem that I think a lot of teams in this league have, and it's the unknown at quarterback. And talking to so many colleagues here this week, that is the recurring theme. Even when you look at what people presume is the top, and as we've had these conversations, Georgia, Texas, Bama, and LSU, people put maybe 4th in that list, maybe like the top of the next tier, or the bottom of that first tier. And then you can go through the list. Almost every team in this league has a question at quarterback, and Alabama's no exception there. Now, the one thing Kalen DeBoer did say today, this is number 6, use if we could, is that if they were playing a game today, that the veteran there, Ty Simpson, would be under center.
Really got 3 guys that have taken all the snaps, not a majority, but all of them. Ty Simpson, Austin Mack, and Keelan Russell, and that's really by age and years of experience is kind of where it starts. We did make it known at the end of the spring that if we played a game at that point, and it really wouldn't have changed even at this point because there's nothing that's happened as far as practicing, Ty Simpson would be the guy that would take the first snaps and be our starter.
So you're looking at a guy like Ty Simpson who would be the starting quarterback, and it's just a guy that doesn't have a lot of experience. He was a former 5-star, so a very highly rated guy coming into Tuscaloosa, but a guy that just hasn't played much during his time there. So how does that transition go? A new offensive coordinator, with Ryan Grubb coming in. Look, Ryan Grubb was initially hired by Kalen DeBoer to come with him from the University of Washington. He was then hired by the Seattle Seahawks, so he left Tuscaloosa before ever coaching, spent 1 year in Seattle, was fired there as the OC after 1 year, and then he was hired again by Kalen DeBoer. And a lot of the conversation here has been that Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb have sort of been a tandem, an offensive play calling tandem throughout DeBoer's entire head coaching career, which is fine. I think that minimizes Kalen DeBoer's impact if you're telling me the offense can't succeed even with a veteran quarterback like Jalen Milroe without having Ryan Grubb in lockstep. I'm not minimizing the importance of having an assistant coach, but when I look at offensive-minded head coaches like Lane Kiffin, for example, we know it's Lane Kiffin's offense. If you want to look at Jimbo Fisher, it was Jimbo Fisher's offense. We can go up and down the list, and we know who those guys are that are offensive-minded coaches. Lincoln Riley. It doesn't matter who the offensive coordinator is. It's Lincoln Riley's offense. So this feels a bit odd, different. Use whatever adjective you want. But to say that Kalen DeBoer has to have Ryan Grubb there with him to make this thing function as it should, it's just, I don't know. It feels more like you had a lot of success in Washington because Michael Penix was a fantastic player, and you have to have that fantastic player. Maybe Ty Simpson will be that. We just don't know. DeBoer did talk, this is 10 Muse, about adding Ryan Grubb back to the staff.
You know, him getting a chance to come here and just add to our staff at the level you're talking about with an elite offensive mind, you know, our familiarity with each other, the efficiency we have when it comes to the day-to-day work, off-season, in-season, it certainly helps us, you know, gain even more momentum going into, you know, this fall.
They averaged 33 points a game. That was 22nd in the country. They gave up 17 points a game. That was 10th in the country. They had some very nice wins. The notable win, of course, against Georgia. There were also the head-scratching losses. The loss to Vanderbilt, the loss to Oklahoma, the loss in the bowl game to a 500 Michigan team. That was the bugaboo for Alabama. Wasn't the ability to win big games at times. Of course, they beat LSU, as we saw in Tiger Stadium. It was the head-scratching losses, and that's kind of been – actually, Chris Marler has a really nice piece up at LouisianaSports.net right now about Kalen DeBoer, how he's had the marquee wins, the top 25 wins. What has also followed him everywhere he's been have been these head-scratching losses. I believe it might be actually at the top of the homepage. If you go to LouisianaSports.net, you can read it right now. It's under the latest stories, and I want to get you the exact number that he wrote, but Kalen DeBoer in his time as a head coach is 15-3 against top 25 teams. That's the best winning percentage of any active coach in the country. He's 6-0 against Sarkisian, Lanning, and Kirby Smart. His 13 losses as a head coach in the FBS level, 10 of the 13 have come to unranked teams, 10 have come when his team was favored, half of those losses were when he was a double-digit favorite. So it's something, while yes, the marquee wins have followed Kalen DeBoer, the head-scratching losses have been part of his tenure as a head coach as well. So something to follow as Alabama moves this season. I'm fully expecting there are a lot of people this week that are going to pick Texas, Georgia, Bama, 1, 2, 3 in whatever order, and probably LSU 4th. I'm projecting how it's going to come on Friday when we get the final results of the preseason projections. I struggle to get there with Bama when you talk about the turnover at quarterback, the head-scratching losses a year ago. You just aren't the Nick Saban Alabama that you were. And I think expecting 9-3 seasons is probably going to be the norm for a team like Alabama moving forward. You look at the schedule. They open up at Florida State. That's not a neutral site. That's in Tallahassee. Florida State was 2-10 a year ago. That's a game Alabama's going to be favored on the road. Then they get ULM, Wisconsin, so they should be 3-0. But then they go to Georgia, and it's a really tough game to win. They get Vanderbilt at home. They got to go to Missouri. Then they get Tennessee at home. They got to go to South Carolina. And really, this is the stretch that's going to be very difficult, is Tennessee at South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma. That's going to be the 4-game stretch that probably makes or breaks. Even if they lose to Georgia, that'll be the stretch right there that determines, are they a 10-2 team? Are they a 9-3 team? Are they a playoff team? Or are they on the outside looking in again here in year 2 under Kalen DeBoer? Alabama, again, was here this morning, and a lot of expectation as there is always in Tuscaloosa. But 9-3 is not the type of thing that's going to get it done in Tuscaloosa. We'll see if Kalen DeBoer in year 2 can step up, but y'all know how I feel about it. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here from Radio Row. Our Hump Day shows here were brought to you by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com. We tell you every day, kill mold, remove odor. It's a patented non-toxic dry fog treatment over at Parish Restoration. So check them out online to get your free estimate. They'll come out. It doesn't matter if it's your home, if it's a commercial building, if it's your vehicle, if you have odor from sweat or pets or smoke. If you got to get rid of that odor, Parish Restoration can help. Or if you need remediation work after you get water intrusion with bad weather, call Parish Restoration. Go to parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. We're here at Media Row from SEC Football Media Days. When we come back, had a chance earlier today to visit with our buddy Chuck Oliver, the king of college football, who you hear following After Further Review every single weekday. Our visit with Chuck Oliver is next here. So stick around with us on day 3 of AFR from SEC Football Media Days.
After Further Review.
Our title sponsor every single hump day is Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Yes, they do ED treatments. If you struggle with ED, they can help. It's not just pills. They have plenty of different types of treatments that can help you with that. But it's so much more than just ED treatments. At Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, their objective is helping all men live a life full of vitality, regaining your youthful feeling, whatever you might be dealing with. Maybe it's hormone therapy, which can help you burn fat, build muscle, increase libido, have better energy levels, mental clarity. Maybe it's something like BPC 157, Body Protection Compound 157. It has been known, ask about it, to help with recovery from injuries and things like that. There's NAD Plus therapy to increase cellular optimization. Learn more, yourgoodwood.com.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you. Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. Live from the 2025 SEC Football Media Days, powered by Parish Construction and Roofing. Enter now for your chance to win $10,000 cash at parishbuilt.com. Our coverage is also presented by Rev and Relief Windows.
We are going to pivot. How are you, sir? It's a pleasure. We were going to run back our interview with Chuck Oliver, but this is a pleasure. Normally, we talk to Jim Nagy with the title of the Executive Director of the Senior Bowl. Now he's the General Manager of Oklahoma football, and the Sooners are taking their turn right now. And I like the jacket, by the way.
Thanks, man. I own nothing with red in it before I got this job. So, yeah, I had to pick something up.
This is a really good look.
Thanks, dude.
Okay, let me start with an obvious one. Why did you decide to do this?
I wasn't planning on it. It wasn't great timing. I took the Senior Bowl job. I left the NFL for the Senior Bowl because my son was in 9th grade and he was getting ready to play all his high school sports, and I didn't want to miss him. So the Senior Bowl job came open. I'm like, man, I got to go for that. Left the Seahawks, and then so I wasn't looking. Now my daughter's going to be a junior in high school, so that's not ideal timing. But again, I interviewed for the Jets GM job in December. And I must have done such a great job that I'm sitting here with you guys. So I knocked that one out of the park. And then I had some other schools reach out, and when I went on the interview with OU and just meeting with the leadership there and Coach Venables, it just seemed like the right fit,
Why?
right time. One, if I was going to do it, I never had the ambition to work in college football because in the former version of college football when it was just recruiting. But now that there's like player evaluation and cap and everything, like just it's a lot more appealing. So I wasn't really looking to leave. Wanted to get my daughter through, but if I was going to do it, I wanted to go somewhere where you could win at the highest level. Like at LSU, obviously you can win at the highest level. You go to the Switzer Center and you walk in the front door and there's 7 national championship trophies and 7 Heisman trophies. So I'm like, you can do it. If it's been done before, you can do it again. Certainly the SEC is a harder league than the Big 12. There's no doubt about it. But no, we had the right people in place, the right infrastructure, right support from the top down. So let's do it.
Player evaluation and cap was an appeal?
Yeah, man.
Because most coaches would look who get out. Most people getting out of college look at that as that's the reason. That's not what it was.
Well, it's my skill set, so that's what I do. So I'm 51 years old right now. I'm not like going to be the lead recruiter. So I want to know where I can fit. But, this is a new structure. And I'll give Oklahoma a lot of credit. That's the reason, the buy-in to what we bring. They gave me a budget. I hired 9 guys. We've got a 10-person scouting staff. For the entirety of college football, position coaches have kind of dictated everything at their position. They recruit who they want to recruit. They sign who they, want to, with the head coach. They sign who they want to sign. So this is going to be a little different. Do we want our coaches involved? 1,000%. Do we care what they think? 1,000%. But when we had guys on visits, where I think our department makes sense and we can be a game changer is rather than a school like LSU or Oklahoma, you got to be a really good high school player to play in the SEC, right?
Sure.
So those coaches spend a lot of time watching guys that will never be good enough to play at LSU and Oklahoma, right? So to me, just a lot of wasted time. So if you just boil it down, we are trimming a ton of fat just from a manpower standpoint. They're only going to be looking at good football players. And from that point on, now they're going to be the lead recruiter. They're going to have full autonomy. If they go out to the school and they watch practice, they talk to the coach, they talk to people at the school, and they're like, Jim, this isn't our kind of guy. Well, good, we're off. We're moving on, right? So they're like the coaches, this is really going to be collaborative. They're going to have a ton of input on the way things are done. But the starting point of the evals and who we're starting to get going on is going to be with the scouting department.
We have, you're managing, you talked about the budget for your staff, your scouting staff, but it's also now the budget of whatever percentage of that $20.5 million in revenue share.
Yep.
Is part of your role, Jim, as well, balancing that budget?
Well, 1,000%. Yeah, no, that's a huge part of it, and that's really been the hardest part of the job. I tried to come in with my eyes wide open, but like I'll say it this way: like in the NFL, I've talked to a lot of my friends that are GMs in the NFL, and they ask about what I'm doing right now. Like I tell them, when you go into free agency and you need a third receiver, you know what the range is on a third receiver in the marketplace. Like right now, like when agents call and they're like, well, where's the starting rev share number? Where are you guys at? I mean, to a degree, you're throwing a dart right now because this is the first capped year. Like, nobody knows what this cap is going to look like. So what I've had to do is reach outside of the SEC with friends that have guys like my counterparts in the Big Ten or, you know, that again are recruiting the same level of player we are, but we're not going head-to-head on a lot of guys. And just be like, what are you paying guys that you think are starting offensive linemen? What are you paying guys that you see as starting receivers? Like, where are we at? So there's just a lot of unknown right now for me. Like, that's been the biggest learning experience. And again, just trial and error a little bit. When you shoot too low, you know, if you shoot too low, then you're out. You shoot too high, you're leaving money on the table, and you're not doing the best job for your school. So it's a little bit like I shot too low on a couple players, and I quickly realized it. The agents were like, "Well, Jim, you're not even in the ballpark." I'm like, "Okay, what gets us in the ballpark?" So it's been some of that. But it's been interesting.
It is a fascinating time. Like, I find all this stuff fascinating.
Yeah.
Like, some people don't like it. I think it's long overdue, and so I'm super intrigued by all the. Jim Nagy's with us, by the way, Oklahoma's general manager. When you look at the roster that Brent Venables has right now, you've done a ton of player evaluation. You obviously have a ton of relationships at Oklahoma from scouting for the Senior Bowl for all these years. Where do you see the strength on this roster?
Yeah, it's certainly, again, I'd want to temper it a little bit. I don't want to come to SEC Media Day shooting my mouth off, but it's not a 6-7 roster. Like, the record last year was 6-7 for a lot of reasons. You know, their top 6 receivers got hurt. Their top 5 offensive linemen got hurt. Like, there was a rash of injuries, but they were a top 20 defense. And I'll put it this way. So in the last month, like summertime scouting in the NFL, this is when all the NFL scouts are getting ready for next year. So they're doing all the 2024 tape over the summer. I can't tell you how many of my friends from around the league have called and been like, "Man, you guys got some dudes next year." And again, some of them we've gotten in the portal. John Mateer, who you guys may have, you know, he's been walking around here today. And Jaden Ott, a big running back we signed from Cal, who, had he stayed healthy last year, would probably be starting on Sundays in the NFL this year. At least that's what I think of Jaden Ott. That's why we aggressively went after him. So we've got a good team. I hope we stay healthy. Really hard league, obviously. People have said we've got the hardest schedule in football. I know LSU. We all have kind of the same schedule. So it's going to be challenging, but I do like where we're at. And again, coming off a season with the record that we had, you might think chemistry might not be great, culture might not be great. Those things are in a great spot. Our coaching staff has done a great job, like, building this team, good dudes, competitive guys, love football. Like, that stuff, to me, that's been the best thing for me, is like, I didn't know where all that was. And now that I've been there for 4 months, like, I really love the guys in our locker room.
I got a couple more. I want to be respectful of your time, but give us the scouting reports as you brought him up on John Mateer, because that's a guy who, candidly, playing at Washington State, a lot of people in the Southeast maybe know the name. They don't know a lot about John Mateer. Yeah,
I think stats-wise, he was led the country last year in touchdowns accounted for, like 44 touchdowns. But when I watched the tape, before I interviewed, I wanted to go in, because sometimes in interviews you get asked, what do you think of the roster? What do you think of this guy? So I did 3 or 4 games on John. He's a playmaker. He ran for I think he may have run for 1,000 yards last year. He's built like a linebacker. You don't see quarterbacks with traps like John Mateer very often. But I joke with him, I don't love muscled up quarterbacks. They usually get real rigid, but like John can still whip it. But John's a playmaker, man. He can do it with his legs. He can win from the pocket. He's really creative. And when I go out to practice, I always watch from behind the offense. And John's field vision is off the charts. Like, it's uncanny. He sees stuff that I don't see, and he's got to process and do it. And I'm just out there just checking. Like, he sees it, and he sees it like the great ones see it at a different level, and he sees it at a different level. So I'm excited about him, man. He's really. I boil it down this way, like, for fans. Like, if you're an LSU fan and like there's an Oklahoma game, he's fun to watch. Yeah. He's a really fun. And trust me, I love your quarterback, man. Nussmeier. I said it last year going into the season. I thought he was. If he would have entered last year's draft, I would have taken him over any quarterback that was in last year's draft.
glad he's back.
No, I think it's smart that he stayed because I think another year of starting experience will really help him.
Yeah.
But if I would have been on the clock for the Tennessee Titans last year, I would have taken Garrett Nussmeier.
Yeah. Mateer ran for 826 and 15 tuds last year, so pretty
good,
pretty healthy.
Yeah.
Okay, before you go, if you would, then give me a thought on the two guys from Oklahoma that LSU got, Nick Anderson and Bauer Sharp.
Yeah, so Bauer Sharp, that was a tough one. So I was at the Auburn-Oklahoma game last year, and I see this big guy back there catching punts. I'm like, who is this dude back here catching punts? And it was Bauer Sharp. So, he's a guy that now in hindsight, I wasn't there when he left. Knowing the player, I wish we still had him. I think he's a really talented guy. I thought he was a draftable player. I don't know Nick Anderson as well. Didn't spend a lot of time on him. But I know just knowing people in the building like that, they felt like that was another loss. LSU got two players that people in the building in Norman, felt like were really good players.
Tigers and Sooners will hook up on Thanksgiving weekend. I hope that becomes a thing.
I hope so too. Like again, how cool would that be if both schools are in a position, for a playoff spot, and then you got a quarterback matchup the Saturday after Thanksgiving, a John Mateer and Garrett Nussmeier. Like that would be a really cool matchup. So fingers crossed, man. We'll see.
Hopefully it's a meaningful football game when the Tigers and Sooners play. Jim Nagy, Oklahoma's general manager. Man, you've always been very kind to us with your time, not only here but throughout the season and everything. I know Musso's back in studio. You visit with him on game day for so many years. We appreciate it and good luck to you. Just not that final Saturday in November.
No, good to see you again.
It's our pleasure. That's Jim Nagy. It's after further review. Our show today is presented. We're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com with bumper-to-bumper auto service and name-brand tires at wholesale prices. It's Shawbills, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Over at Shawbills, they've been in business for nearly 60 years now. 1968 is when they opened their doors, and it's amazing. Mr. Charlie started things back then. His daughter, Miss Beth, now is running the show, and I love bragging on him this year. Miss Beth was named Modern Tire Dealer of the Year, a national award for Shawbills and Miss Beth Barron because of the way they treat their customers, the exceptional work that they do. It's Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com, Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. So as you mentioned, Oklahoma and Florida currently taking their turn here at SEC Football Media Days. This morning it was Alabama and Mississippi State. We do have our buddy Robbie Faulk who will stop by in hour number 3 to give us a little thumbnail on the Bulldogs. In 15 minutes from right now, J.D. Pickell from On 3 is going to join me here on site as well. Let me knock out a quick break, come back, and we'll wrap up hour number 1. Our Hump Day shows, as always, are presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. It's day 3 here of SEC Football Media Days.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Watermark in the Renaissance, Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Remember, y'all, football. This is a great reminder that football season is almost here. These 4 days we get to spend at SEC Football Media Days. Great reminder that football is right around the bend. So if you're starting to plan those football weekends, maybe you've got family coming in for a certain game, clients coming in for a certain game, book those rooms now. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance, Southtown on Bluebonnet. The Renaissance right there on Bluebonnet near I-10 across from Perkins Row in the Mall of Louisiana. That is where the LSU football team stays the Friday night before every home game. So if you want to stay where the Tigers stay, you want your family, your client coming in town to stay where the Tigers stay, book those rooms now because, of course, it's going to sell out. It's right there, Watermark Downtown, Renaissance, Southtown on Bluebonnet. And as always, they would love to host your next event, no matter what size or scale. Call my friend Allison Crump at the Renaissance Hotel and get that booked today. It's the Renaissance Hotel.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. Live from the 2025 SEC Football Media Days, powered by Parish Construction and Roofing. Enter now for your chance to win $10,000 cash at parishbuilt.com. Our coverage is also presented by Rev and Relief Windows.
Wrapping up hour number 1 here from Radio Row. Our coverage all week presented by Parish Construction and Roofing. Remember, we are giving away $10,000 cash on Friday's show with Terrio in studio. To enter, all you have to do is sign up for a free, no-obligation roofing inspection, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. We are also presented by Relief Windows, windows, door siding. They do shutters as well. And Rev, remember, Rev Business, go to letsrev.biz. It is after further review, and we're glad you're hanging out with us here. J.D. Pickell from On 3 is going to be with us in 10 minutes, right at the top of the hour. We have so many conversations today. Our buddy Chuck Oliver, Peter Burns, Cole Cubelic, David Cohn from Crane & Company, Ross Dellenger, Frank Frangie talking Florida Gators. We talked to Caleb Banks, the big defensive lineman from the Florida Gators. So a lot to get to over the course of today's show. While I just have about 5 minutes here, let me shoehorn a little bit of LSU baseball in, just because it was a really significant day. I know being here, it's just not really an opportunity to talk a lot of baseball. But the draft happened, and as a result of the draft and losing both Bear Jones and Ethan Fry, LSU had a power void in their lineup. I know I mentioned it, and I'm happy to say it again, but LSU made what I was told was the biggest NIL offer they had made yet in baseball to keep Ethan Fry. And so part of that is just circumstance and how much money you have and escalating deals and all that sort of stuff. But it was also certainly need. And losing Bear Jones, you wanted a guy like Fry to come back, to have a 20, 25 homer power bat in the middle of your lineup, and a guy who hit over 300 this past year. Well, with Ethan Fry taking the deal from the Houston Astros, that was a big surprise. And while LSU has guys capable of running the ball out of the yard, I mean, think of it. Jones hit 22, Fry hit 13, Dickinson hit 12. They're all gone. Now, Milam hit 11. He's back. Jake Brown hit 8. He's back. But if he gets 250 at-bats, he'd be a double-digit homer guy. Curriel hit 7. He could certainly bump that number up. Tanner Reeves getting 200 bats. You could see a little bit of a power stroke. You do have Braden Simpson you brought in from High Point, who hit 22 this past year. But that's High Point. It's not the SEC. Does it actually translate? So Jay Johnson had to go find power bats, guys that were capable of running 20 balls out of the yard over the course of a season to stick in the middle of the lineup, and he added 2 of them. Zach York is one that he added. And Zach York is a huge dude. This is a 300-pound first baseman out of Grand Canyon who hit .328 this past season. And over his 3 seasons, he's clubbed 32 homers, 13 this past year. So you're talking about a guy in Zach York, who is a big power bat from the left side. And then, as we were finishing yesterday, Oregon State transfer Trent Caraway also committed to LSU in the transfer portal. He's a guy who had 5 homers in the Corvallis Regional. He won the regional MVP. That's very likely going to be your starting third baseman. I know Braden Simpson coming in from High Point was a third baseman, but what this means now is you've got multiple transfers that are going to be competing for spots on the infield, however it may translate. And it gives Jay Johnson options for guys that can add power. If it's York, if it's Caraway, if it's Simpson. Remember, you added Seth Dardar as well from Kansas State. So all those guys you've added, you're hoping some combination of them will work for your first base, third base, DH. What we know is Stephen Milam is going to play shortstop, and the expectation is that Tanner Reeves is going to be the second baseman. But in adding a guy like Caraway, adding York, who could very well be your first baseman. Remember, you still have Eddie Yaman hanging around as well. So you have bats, you have options, you have potential. What you don't have is a proven guy that can go out there and hit 20 bombs for you. So that's kind of where they are right now, but some huge adds with big upside. And then another one we talked about last week that had been a silent commit is now a public commit, and that's Kansas righty Cooper Moore. This is a guy who very likely could be your number 2 or 3 in this lineup. Worked 88 and 2/3 innings, struck out 85, walked just 19. He's a strike thrower at a sub-4 ERA. He is a starter. He is a starter in your rotation. So Jay Johnson, every year he's been here, he has added starting pitching via the transfer portal, like he did this past year with Anthony Ianson and Devin Sheeran. Of course, Sheeran's coming back off of injury. You could look to Skeens and Hurd or Holman and Jump. They've added Cooper Moore, the righty from Kansas, who is a starting caliber pitcher and very likely will find himself somewhere in LSU's rotation in 2026, but a long way to go until we get there. All right, it's after further review. We will get back on track talking football here from SEC Football Media Days. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. When we come back, J.D. Pickell from On 3 is going to join us, and I'm excited to talk to J.D. because J.D. Pickell has I don't know if he's been driving the LSU bus among the national sports talkers, but if he ain't been driving the bus, he's like in the front seat. So I want to know what he sees in this LSU team to be so high on, and we'll do that as we continue here with J.D. Pickell to start off hour number 2 from Radio Row at SC Football Media Days.
AFR.
Y'all love telling you about Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. LMFJ.com, that's a website. And there's 9 locations in all. But the thing about Lee Michaels that they do better than anyone is they do an amazing job of creating a buying atmosphere. They call it the Lee Michaels experience. You walk in the door, you're going to be greeted with chocolates on a tray, a glass of champagne. You're going to feel like what you're doing is something special. And listen, if you're buying a diamond ring as a symbol of your love for your partner, then, yeah, that is something special. That's something that you would hope to pass down through generations of your family. And at Lee Michaels, they want to make sure that you're comfortable with the purchase. She's thrilled with it, and you're the hero. That's why you can take your time. They're never going to pressure you. They create what they call the Lee Michaels experience. So experience it today at Lee Michaels. They're online at lmfj.com. 9 locations in all for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Online, lmfj.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A Beal buyout. ESPN's Sham Sharani is reporting shooting guard Bradley Beal's agreed to a contract buyout with the Suns. Plans to join the Clippers on a 2-year, $11 million deal with a player option after he clears waivers. Beal's giving back almost $14 million out of the $110 million on the final 2 years of his contract to complete that buyout with Phoenix. Going into his second season as Alabama's head coach, Kalen DeBoer is looking for the program's next starting quarterback. At SEC Media Days today, DeBoer reiterated Ty Simpson currently leads the competition with Austin Mack and Keelan Russell. ESPN college football analyst and former Alabama QB, Greg McElroy.
I think Ty Simpson is in a great position, though, to lock down the starting job. Now it's about just going out and doing it. He's a talented kid, highly regarded prospect, but now you have to develop that alpha dog mentality, that confidence in your own ability, because if you're not super confident in yourself, it's going to be tough for the guys to follow you. It's going to be tough for you to lead.
WNBA, Indiana's Caitlin Clark, right groin injury, questionable tonight against the New York Liberty.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen. Coming up Thursday, we keep asking the question, which QB could surpass Patrick Mahomes this season? And there's one name no one is talking about that should be number one on everyone's list. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right. Woo!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. We are here at Radio Row. I'm not even doing the digital drive thing anymore. I'm just calling it Radio Row. From SEC Football Media Days 2024, Day 3. Big day today. Alabama, Mississippi State, Florida, and Oklahoma. The Gators and the Sooners currently wrapping up their days right now. And the two teams, in my opinion, and I would throw South Carolina in that mix as well, that didn't have great seasons last year. People are expecting better seasons this year that I'm not so sure I'm sold on, but we'll get into that with our next guest as well. J.D. Pickell from On3, good enough to join us here live on Radio Row for a couple of minutes. How are you, man? Doing great. Oh, my bad. Oh, you know what's helpful?
Bing, bada,
you know what's helpful?
boom.
turning up the microphone.
No, man, we're rocking and rolling. I'm glad you said that about the Radio Row Digital Drive thing, because I've been saying Radio Row all week long, and I feel a little bit rebellious, kind of like a bad boy. I'm not calling it Digital Drive, but I'm glad that we are in that mission together. I feel like I'm in good company.
We were at the Super Bowl in New Orleans, and they called it Media Row. And I get it because there's a lot of – look, you're quote-unquote new media.
Sure,
You're not doing a radio show, so I get it. But Media Row feels like that might be more appropriate than Digital Drive.
Just more prestigious too, right?
It feels that way.
I don't know.
If it's good enough for the Super Bowl,
more important.
It's good enough for the Super Bowl, good enough for SEC Media Days. Hey, I want to talk about some of the other schools, but primarily I wanted to talk to you about LSU because as we're going to the top of the hour break, I said you may not be driving the LSU bus, but if you're not driving the bus, you're like on the front row.
I bought a good ticket. I will say that. I paid good money for this ticket.
You're in first class.
I appreciate it. Yeah, 100%.
So why?
I think so much of it is the climate of the SEC right now. Like, we're looking across the board, and everyone said this, I feel like, ad nauseum, but there's so many just new dudes pulling the trigger. I mean, Texas, I think Arch Manning is going to be good. Like, we think he's going to be good enough to push him to a national title, an SEC title. And the same deal with Georgia and Gunnar Stockton and Ole Miss and Austin Simmons. And so you start to, do the process of elimination of, like, quarterbacks you believe in. And I'm like, I know what Garrett Nussmeier is. I know, at the very least, I know what he is as a first-year starter. And he gets another year. He gets more weapons. They went to work in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
And, I, for better or for worse, I don't think I'm in the camp of Brian Kelly being the problem. Now, is he without flaw? Is he a perfect head coach? I don't think that exists. But this idea that he's the one holding them back, I'm like, well, let's let it bake a little bit longer. Let's see what it is after another year in the saddle. Let's see what it is when he gets his culture and his roster and all those things. So, guys coached over 20 years and won 70% of his games. North of that, probably not the main issue, so to speak.
I do think there's a bit of the lazy echo chamber narrative with Kelly. Again, he's made mistakes, no doubt, but he's been a head coach for 35 years. He's won a ton. Like, he knows what he's doing. What do you feel like you know about Nussmeier?
I feel like I know that he is in the foxhole gonna be ready to rock, which is such a cliche thing to say, but I feel like there's moments last year, to give you a more like specific answer outside of ready to rock. To give you a more analytical answer,
a little more descriptive.
Yeah, like I go back to the Ole Miss game, and it's 4th and 5, and Ole Miss is obviously in a spot where, like, if they don't pick that up, it's it's ball game.
Yeah.
And they called a vertical downfield, like Garrett Nussmeier play, like, hey, we are putting the chips on you, brother. And so much of last year when LSU wasn't successful, some of it you could attribute to Garrett Nussmeier and the first-year jitters and not knowing what comes with that moment and things of that nature. And so I look at this upcoming season, I'm like, he's not going to have that same wide-eyed, or he's not going to have that uncertainty or the mystery. Like, he will know what it's like walking into a game in November and have playoff stakes on the line. So I think what we saw last year and the projection of building on top of that is what gets me excited.
Okay, you also said they did work in the portal. Here's what's interesting to me, and I know this is true. When you're a local market person, you cover the team that you cover very deep. Like, I know everything about every player in LSU's team. I have a surface-level knowledge of every other team in the league. I like coming here because it allows me to get a deeper knowledge of each. I leave here feeling like I know much, much more about every other team in the league. I feel like every interview that I did on Monday, and I was tasting a little bit of the temperature. I would ask, like, do you know who Braylon Moore is? Or do you know who Mansour Delane is? Or do you know who fill-in-the-blank transfer, A.J. Halsey is? And I got a lot of blank stares. I don't think people realize what LSU did in the portal. So from your perspective, outside in, what do you see as the key ingredient of what they did in the portal?
In terms of, like, specific acquisitions?
It doesn't even necessarily have to be that, but maybe more the approach.
What I said,
like I don't want to say how important was it.
No,
it was super important. I mean,
I think
it was, but
I mean, you and I were talking upstairs during the scrum for LSU, and it was like, hey, what has been something that works in modern college football? That's proven to work. At the very least, you get better substantially. You get better players, right? Ohio State did it last year. You mentioned that. Ole Miss did it last year, and they were in a spot where they should have played for the college football playoff, and you mentioned that multiple times, so I'm kind of stealing your thunder there. But you go back to I go back to that Bryce Underwood flip, and what we said on our show was like, hey, I wonder just maybe if this is the thing that pisses LSU off for greatness a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, there's kind of those moments where it's like, That's a state with a lot of pride, a logo with a lot of pride. And when you have pride, there's always people with deep pockets somewhere in the vicinity. Like, is this kind of that origin story moment that takes them from being a school that participates in the portal to actually, like, winning in the portal? You know what I mean? There's always those kids during class that raise their hand to get their participation points and just kind of speak and say something. And there's kids that actually add to the conversation. LSU is adding to the conversation in the portal.
Okay, so then who do you think in this class is a significant add, however deeply you've looked at it, for LSU in 2025?
I get excited about Patrick Payton. And I know last year at Florida State wasn't awesome. Across the board, it wasn't awesome. I think good culture elevates everyone, and I think there should be a better culture here with the continuity behind Kelly and the coordinators and all those things. I mean, if you have a dude in the SEC off the edge, you know this as well as anyone, Matt, like, you're going to be in good position to go win a lot of football games. And I think Patrick Payton, what he was a couple of years ago for Florida State, we're talking about him being a first-round pick. We're talking about him being an All-American kind of guy potentially. Didn't go that way at Florida State, obviously, a year ago. But I remember Pete Thamel, the very first college game day during Week 0, he says Florida State has the best defensive line in college football. And a big reason why was him on the end. It wasn't the case, but the talent that he brings, I think, is it can't be overlooked. Plus all the depth, too. I know you've spoken about this, but, like, the depth that LSU has now, what they added via the portal, but overall, like, I love the way that translates to what they have ahead of them.
Look at the schedule and tell me what you see.
I see a lot of wins here. See a lot of wins here. I'm telling you, I need coax. I'm glad I'm on with you. I need to be pulled off this ledge of picking LSU to win the national championship because I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
Unless you tell me for some reason this should not happen. And Media Days is winding down. This was my mission coming to Media Days, was like, hey, somebody tell me why I shouldn't do this. And I think you are the most credible source to tell me to not do this, to pull me off the edge.
Would be the most credible source.
I see 11-1.
Where's the one?
I think the one could be any of A&M. I think the game at Oklahoma is treacherous, just with John Mateer. I think they're going to be feisty. I think South Carolina. I don't think it'll be a multiple loss. Dang, now we kind of crumble and fall apart. Like, I don't see that with this team. I don't see that with Garrett Nussmeier. I think they'll win the first game against Clemson.
Why? That was my question. Why?
I think the emphasis they've put on, even before coming to Media Days, I'm like, man, if I'm in that locker room, I've got to be just so nauseous from hearing everyone talk about the opener in Week 1 and all these things. And, like, it's great to say you're going to change. It's great to give it lip service. But I truly think that with the continuity at coordinators, quarterback, clearly head coach, I think they're in the position to finally do something about it. I think Clemson's going to be really good. Clemson also, as experienced as they are, there's a couple of sophomores in that receiver corps they're going to count on a lot. Cade Klubnik, I think he projects to do great things in 25. I'm more sure of Garrett Nussmeier than Cade Klubnik, personally. Like, I think Klubnik's going to be really good, but I'd take Garrett Nussmeier if I got to pick between the two of those guys. So in the margins, I like LSU. And that's me saying I think Clemson doesn't lose a game after that.
11-1. Okay. You're going to pick LSU to win the Natty?
Yes.
Okay.
Unless you yank me off the edge here, I'm sitting here just.
I won't. If it's not LSU, here's the thing. I always think it's very hard to project in a playoff era when I don't know what the draw is.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I think they're very capable. You got to get in, so you got to navigate that to get in to win it. If it wasn't LSU, who would you pick
to win the national championship? I really like Clemson, even though I just dogged on them about how they look versus LSU. I do like Clemson, so there's that part of it. I'm not so sure that Ohio State doesn't have a guy in Julian Sayin. They have arguably the two best players in college football with Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Smith. I think if you're talking about new quarterbacks and the roster around them that they're being plugged into, I think Ohio State's probably the next best spot. I wouldn't be shocked if Ohio State repeated.
Okay. Complacency is a real thing, man.
It is.
And I will be fascinated to see how Ryan Day handled it. Like, Kirby did fine.
Yes.
Nick Saban was the master of it. How's Ryan? I don't know. We saw Michigan win a national championship. Harbaugh left, and they went 6-6. Yeah. Now, if Harbaugh's back, how is that different? I have no idea. But that's a fascinating part of the conversation about Ohio State. J.D. Pickell from On3. Make sure you'll follow him on X. Watch his stuff. He's picking LSU to win the national championship. He should be your best friend.
Like Garrett Nussmeier, I'm ready to rock at all times.
He's ready to rock.
Ready to rock.
Thank you for coming by, man. I appreciate
you, man.
All right, it is after further review. We got a lot to get to. The Gators were here earlier today. Frangie, 1010XL in Jacksonville, our good friend we always have a chance to catch up with here. And also, by the way, the radio voice of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I will ask Frank about Brian Thomas and Mason Smith and Jordan Jefferson. So we'll do that when we continue here from SEC Football Media Days. Stick around.
AFR.
Get Gordon. Get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. You need representation. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. I would highly recommend you use the website. It's a great resource. You can go see client testimonials, like actual client results. You can learn more about Gordon, see all the different offices that they have. So no matter where you are in Louisiana, there's an office near you. So if you're injured, the last thing you want to do is travel. You don't have to. There's an office near you. So call 888-8888, 888-8888, or go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. And, of course, we always talk about the G team, the amazing work that Gordon has done through NIL to deepen relationships with the Tigers, to help the Tigers win on the field, and obviously deeply rooted in our community with so many charitable endeavors. You can learn more there at GordonGives.com, GordonGives.com. It's Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 7.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. Live from the 2025 SEC Football Media Days, powered by Parish Construction and Roofing. Enter now for your chance to win $10,000 cash at parishbuilt.com. Our coverage is also presented by Rev and Relief Windows.
We're joined now by Frangie, 1010XL in Jacksonville, also the radio voice of the Jacksonville Jaguars. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Matt. How are you? How are things here? Good?
Yeah, excited. Good. Rolling through day 3, and by this point of the week, it's always like you get your groove and just in time to leave.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We, like you, I've done this 1,000 times, and it's about the same. You get worn down right about now. That's right.
I'll get you the obligatory Florida and SEC questions in a second, but let me ask about Brian Thomas and Mason Smith and what their expectations are year 2 at the Jags.
Brian Thomas Jr. is one heck of a player. I had no idea he was that good. I should have known because he's a receiver from LSU, and they're all great. But I mean, they
especially
are
the ones from Louisiana.
Yeah, they are. And you were telling me that they're all from there. Brian Kelly came on with us and said the same thing, that they're all homegrown. My goodness, they're good. He's a really good player now. I mean, he's like really good. He might be. I know it's only been 1 year, but we could look back in 10 years and he could be one of the best Jaguars. I mean, he's really good. We haven't had a lot of star players. He's really good. He's a great kid. Works hard. Stretches the field. All the stuff the great receivers do. So I think the expectations for him are off the chart, Matt. I really do. Mason Smith has a chance. He came on a little bit last year. He wasn't in great shape. He missed weight a few times. They made him inactive. He was a healthy scratch because he missed weight. They didn't want to talk about that, but he did. He had to learn how to be a pro, but to his credit, he did. Toward the end of the last year, he started to come on. He might be really good. I don't think they've got Eric Armstead to start the season at that 3 technique. Same guy, tall, angular, like Mason. But Mason's got a chance now. Yeah. Jordan Jefferson's got a chance. He's more of a 2-gap guy, But the LSU players there are very good. Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be a star. Maddie's going to be so good. And they have high hopes for Mason Smith. If he can continue to be what he was the last 2 or 3 games last year, he's got a chance.
Jaguars fell in love with LSU players last year in that draft, man.
Well, they did. I told you, it's LSU East is what we are. And with merit, man. Brian Thomas Jr. is such a good player, and I think Mason Smith's going to be a good player too.
The Gators are here today. Let's talk about them. They were a surprise for a lot of people. I know a year ago at this event, a lot of the narrative was, would Billy Napier make it through the season? Not only did he, nice wins near the end of the season, beating Ole Miss, beating LSU. So I guess the thing is, Frank, what do you do for an encore?
Yeah.
Can you take the next step this year?
Yeah, I think the real question, and that is the question, man. I think the real question about these guys is, look, Florida's had to deal with something in the last 10, 15 years they hadn't dealt with before, and that's irrelevance. They're not one of the elite teams now. They may have the elite logo, but they haven't been one of the elite teams on any front. They don't show up in the draft. They don't show up on the field. So they've had to figure it out. Last year we saw a touch of it. Now the question is, to your point, are they really better? Or did they catch a little bit of lightning in a bottle by beating Ole Miss and LSU at the end of the year? Well, we'll find that out. Here's what I believe. It's the best roster they've had in a while. So it'll be the best roster they've fielded, probably better than that roster in 20. They were very good in 20, but that was Dan Mullen's play calling and Trask and Pitts. I think it's the best roster they've had in a while. They've got some good players. They've got some dudes now. They haven't had that in a while. The question is, can they believe it? And against this brutal schedule again.
Yeah.
Is Billy Napier a good enough coach? And I hate to say that. I know that's just the narrative, but usually those narratives, there's some truth to those, Matt. And I think as a sideline coach, big decisions. He's his own play caller still. There's been a lot of question about that, whether or not he's good enough at that. But the roster's better than it has been. I will tell you that. It has not been an elite roster, and it's closer to being what Georgia and Alabama and LSU and Texas run out there. It's closer to being that than it's been in a long time.
Did they do that in the portal, or has that been consistent high school recruiting?
Yeah, mostly high school. He didn't do much in the portal this year. He's used the portal only. He's filling the gaps. Unlike Brian Kelly, who did a lot of portal work this year.
Yeah.
Billy's just filled in the gaps with that. It's mostly high school guys. He's done very well with portal receivers. Picell a couple years ago, DK and Badger last year. They got J. Michael Sturdivant from UCLA this year. But for the most part, it's been high school guys, and they continue. They've lost a few in the portal. Jack Pyburn's a good player. You're going to see that. He's a good player. He plays hard. They lost T.J. Searcy to Auburn, who's the same kind of player. But it's been mostly high school recruiting. They've got a good roster. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Frangie, 1010XL in Jacksonville, joining us. You mentioned Pyburn and Jakeem Jackson, a couple of Gators are coming into Baton Rouge. What do you think should LSU fans expect to see from those guys?
Jakeem Jackson has got talent, but he's rough around the edges. The way LSU, and I know you and I had this talk earlier, LSU didn't have the kind of secondary last year that it's had in past years, but LSU's got good players. If Jakeem factors in, this year I'd be a little surprised.
Okay.
Pyburn's a good player. Pyburn is going to help you. He's an energy guy. People don't care about an edge guy being stout against the run, but they should,
right?
Because it matters. He's physical. He's real physical. He's not an elite pass rusher. He's more of a left end than a right end at the next level. But he's a good player. He's tough. You're going to like him. You're going to like his energy. I think he's got a chance to be a really good player.
I talked to Jack when he signed with LSU, and he said, it's funny the word you, because it was the exact word. He said, I'm an effective pass rusher. I'm not an elite pass rusher. But he wanted to come to a place that could help him get there. And I'm curious if he can turn that corner, if that's even a part of his skill set.
That was an awkward thing when he left. They're longtime Gators. His dad's a Gator. His mom's a Gator. They grew up. He went to every Gator game as a kid. He would have been a legacy there.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have been. Can you imagine his senior day? A guy that came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden all he ever wanted to do was play for Florida, and the place would have erupted. But he didn't like the rotation. He probably told you that.
Yep.
His dad's been very clear about that. He wants to be a starting end, not a guy that rotates in and out. And he believes he can develop more at LSU. I wish him well. He's a good dude, and I really do. But yeah, I think he'll play in the league because I think he's one of those guys. Look, one thing I'm blessed in this regard, Matt, is I get to come here and see 50 players, and then I'm on a plane with NFL players all year long, so I kind of know what they look like. He looks the part.
Yeah.
He's going to be an NFL player. I'd be surprised if he's not.
We're 6 minutes in. I haven't asked you the obligatory DJ Lagway question. Frangie was a 5-star. I think everybody sees the ability. He also completed 50% of his passes last year and had as many touchdowns as interceptions. So, I mean, what's in there?
Yeah. Well, I've connected with Gator fan. He's going to win 3 Heismans. I think. Okay. Okay, I think, and
good to know.
And if he gets that other 4th year back, maybe the 4th Heisman, so he's gonna be better than Tebow.
Why do they keep letting people wear 50?
Yeah.
Like, why do they keep issuing that number?
I'm with you.
They had a punter wear that number.
They
let Graham Mertz wear that number.
The ball coach says we don't retire numbers. Ball coach unretired his own number. That's what that is. When the ball coach unretires,
don't retire it, but then don't issue it.
Right.
Like 9 isn't retired at LSU, but nobody's ever going to wear it.
No, I hear and I agree with you. Here's my thought on DJ Lagway. The potential is there. He's big. He's got a big arm. He throws off defensive linemen and then throws passes. So I get why people are excited. And Matt, Florida hasn't had a guy to be excited about in a while. I think that's part of it too. Cam Newton. Anthony Richardson, who plays like Cam Newton, didn't turn out to be what they had hoped. So they've needed a guy. They've needed a guy to be excited about. The way they were Walter Clayton Jr., who just led him to a national championship in basketball. But I think your point's a fair one. He completed 59% of his passes. He threw 12 touchdowns and 9 picks. Well, that's not going to cut it. He can throw the deep ball. He's athletic. He played hurt. He's tough. All of that is true. The question I have, and you probably do too, is, can he complete the short pass? Can he complete the intermediate pass? Can he complete 11 in a row? Can you look up at one point and he's got 22 touchdowns and 5 picks? I don't know. And back to what we talked about at the top, Matt, is Billy Napier a good enough play caller that he can get him into that rhythm? So those are fair questions. I think the book is out on DJ Lagway. He's a nice kid. I'll tell you this. He's a good dude now. He's the charitable side, the family side. I was just talking to Danny Werfel about that.
Sure.
He's all the right stuff if he's the right player. But I think the questions are fair. I really do.
So last thing, you mentioned the schedule, right? So it's Long Island, South Florida, so it's easy. But then it's the gauntlet comes, right? It's at LSU. It's at Miami, Texas, at Texas A&M. Then you get Mississippi State, but then it's Georgia, at Kentucky, at Ole Miss, Tennessee, and then Florida State. Like, find me 8 wins, Frank. Yeah, I will tell you this. I've always said this, and I don't know if it applies to this year's Florida team. Your schedule, how tough your schedule is, has a lot to do with how good your team is. I think in the Spurrier years, nobody was worried about what the schedule was, right? They played FSU every year, who was also great. They played LSU every year. They played Auburn every year. They played Georgia. LSU wasn't great when Spurrier was there.
Weren't. You're right. That's a very good point. Well said. But you know my point. Nobody worried about how tough the schedule is when your team's good. So I think, it's a tough schedule. Here's what I think. If Lagway is what Gator Nation thinks,
the 3 Heisman guys,
minimum. If he's that, they have a good team. I'm telling you, they have some dudes, and they haven't had that in a while. So I think there's 8 or 9 wins in there. I think they're a team that has to upset somebody. I don't see them winning in Baton Rouge. I think they could win at Miami.
Okay.
Carson Beck, we'll see. We'll see how well he does down there. But I think at Baton Rouge is hard. Georgia's hard because it's Georgia. And then there's a to your point, a litany of other games that get hard because there's so many of them. Texas, you got to play, although you get them at home. So I think they could get to eight or 9 wins, and then hope they're the first 9-3 team to make it into that tournament. So they're going to be very interesting because for the first time, they've been easy to figure out the last couple of years. They didn't have a lot of good players.
Right.
I think for the first time they've got them, so it'll be fun to watch.
Frangie, 1010XL in Jacksonville. Radio voice of the Jags as well. Calling a lot of LSU players' names there for Jacksonville. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Matt.
We always appreciate our conversations with Frank and talking about the Gators coming in. You know, we look at Florida on the season. There's 3 teams that a lot of people here are high on taking the next step, and it's Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Florida. And I think each of those are a 7-win football team. I mean, I think it's easy to say 9-3. Like, not everybody's going to go 9-3 or 10-2. Like, there's going to be teams that backslide. Auburn a year ago was a 5-7 football team. And I look at Florida, and I understand they have some talented players, and I understand the optimism around DJ Lagway. But I really struggle to get past with Florida, all that they're losing. And not just necessarily in numbers, but in ability. Their running back Montreal Johnson is gone. Elijah Badger is gone. Shamar James is gone. Obviously Jack Pyburn's at LSU. And then I have the question about Lagway. They were 6-1 in his 7 starts, but he threw 12 touchdowns, 9 picks, and completed only 50% of his passes. He needs to get much better. But the bigger thing is the schedule. After Long Island and South Florida, it's at LSU, at Miami, Texas, at Texas A&M. We talk about it all the time. Every team goes through a gauntlet somewhere in their season. And Florida, after they'll start 2-0, those next 4 games are brutal. And then they're home against Mississippi State before open date, then Georgia in Jacksonville, and then they finish back-to-back road conference games at Kentucky, at Ole Miss. I think they split there. They're home against Tennessee, which I don't know what Tennessee is going to be, and then they're home against Florida State. I just see landmines all over, and I think that's probably a team that ends up a 7-5 football team, maybe 8-4 at best, and is that good enough for Billy Napier to keep his job? And I don't know the answer to that. But Florida will be in Baton Rouge on September the 13th. That's when LSU will retire Charles Alexander's jersey. All right, it is After Further Review. We're here on Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. We always have a chance to chat with our buddy Ross Dellenger from Yahoo Sports. We'll do that when we continue here on AFR.
AFR.
River City's 1 hour air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. You can check them out online. Remember, at River City's 1 hour air, it's pretty easy. You call River City's 1 hour air, you go to the website, you schedule service, and they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. They schedule a time to come to your house. If they're 1 minute late, you don't come out of pocket 1 cent. It's River City's 1 hour air. 752-0001, 752-0001. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. And I tell you this because this matters. If you're like me and you're calling a technician, you're going to have someone in your home that you're not familiar with, you want to feel comfortable with who's coming into your home, who's around your family. At River City's 1 hour air, you will get a call, a text, and an email alerting you the technician's on the way. You'll get the name of the technician, a photo of the technician, and reviews of that technician, so you'll always be comfortable, and they'll perform excellent service. It's River City's 1 hour air.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. Live from the 2025 SEC Football Media Days, powered by Parish Construction and Roofing. Enter now for your chance to win $10,000 cash at parishbuilt.com. Our coverage is also presented by Rev and Relief Windows.
Our coverage from Digital Drive. Presented by Parish Construction and Roofing. Remember, you can enter to win $10,000 cash at parishbuilt.com. We're also brought to you by Relief Windows, windows, door siding. They do shutters as well. And Rev Business, let's rev.biz. Ross Dellenger, good enough to join us. Guy knows a lot about the business of sports, formerly of The Advocate, and then left and broke our hearts.
Yeah.
Became a big old guy that wears jackets to media days. And a dry fit shirt underneath.
That's right. Well, we can't all be perfect, Matt.
Is that the jacket that you wore to the Red Door?
No. That was a black jacket.
Oh, okay.
It's airing out from the cigar smoke.
We went to a cigar bar. It was
at,
wonderful.
Red Phone Booth, not Red Door, but
Red Phone Booth. Thank you for the correction. Nice place. If anyone's interested in Atlanta, looking for a cigar place.
Mm-hmm.
You here for Yahoo? You're writing a lot about. I know you wrote about Arch. There was a circus come to town.
Mm-hmm.
You've come to a lot of these. How would you compare Arch's time here to maybe some of the others? Johnny Manziel was a big one, obviously.
Yeah, that's the one people mention as comparison. I think Johnny's was much bigger. I mean,
and in a much smaller place.
Yeah, Hoover. Yeah, I think of Tebow too. When he came, but it's still for a guy that hasn't really started many games. It's probably the biggest that I've seen for a guy that hasn't started any games.
The two guys you mentioned had already won the Heisman Trophy.
Right. So naturally they would draw the spotlight. But Arch has started 2 games and has thrown, I think, like 95 passes. So it was a lot of attention for a guy that's not seen the field very much.
Do you have a feeling on him, Texas, Sark, how you think they'll fare this year?
Not really. Obviously, we'll learn a lot. August, 30th, is the game at Texas or at Ohio State. So I'll be there, and that'll be pretty wild to see how they do. They lost. I believe they lost a lot from the offensive line last year, but Sark talked a lot here about how good their defense is. And where that is, and I think that they've kind of been building up since he took over 4 years ago or so. They've been building the defense up to where it is sort of now, and I think he feels really comfortable with it.
I know the opposite end of the spectrum would be Vanderbilt, but you also were keeping an eye on Diego Pavia, and that's fascinating because he shouldn't be here. But for the fact that he got a rule change to get more eligibility, can you catch us up to speed on what's going to happen with that?
Yeah, Diego in last December, filed a lawsuit against the NCAA, basically wanting the judge to grant him an injunction so that he could extend his eligibility by a year. And he used the reasoning that his junior college seasons shouldn't count against NCAA eligibility standards. And the judge agreed.
Yeah, smart.
And thus the NCAA granted a broad sort of waiver for players who are in his similar situation. They can also get another year. And that kind of got miscommunicated or misconstrued, but that means players who are going into what would be their last year. So their last year of eligibility would have been last season. They can get an extra year if they played a year of junior college.
Right.
So you have to meet all those standards. So, but still, that was like hundreds of athletes that now get an extra year. And Diego had said he'd gotten like a lot of thank yous and stuff from athletes around the country. But his lawsuit triggered 26 more eligibility lawsuits against the NCAA from players that are in a little different positions. Some saying that Division II years shouldn't count. Some saying that they should just have 6 years or 5 years of eligibility. And so right now the eligibility is sort of standards in the NCAA is sort of under attack, you might say. That's how the President Charlie Baker put it, assault. That the eligibility standards are under assault. And I thought it was, and Greg Sankey says the same things a lot of the commissioners do. And I thought that was interesting on Monday. Greg Sankey gave us like state of the state here, and he spent a lot of time on the attack on eligibility from athletes. But the one that began the attack was in the building, walking around, being paraded around media day. So it's just indicative, I guess, of sort of the state of the murky, kind of weird state of college athletics right now. And I should say, of the 27 lawsuits, and all of them are basically requesting a judge immediately rule, like a injunctive relief. The ones that a judge has ruled one way or the other on an injunctive relief, which is an immediate, like a temporary restraining order or something. And so 20 of the 23 where a judge has ruled, the NCAA has won. So they've only lost 3 so far. So judges, for the most part, are siding with the NCAA that the eligibility standard should be upheld.
That is fascinating because the perception, certainly the reality with a lot of the NIL stuff has been every time the NCAA went to court, they lose.
Yeah.
But with eligibility,
not the case with eligibility.
Winning.
That's right.
So do we know if this junior college provision, the Pavia rule, will carry on after this year?
We don't in the waiver. The waiver only grants only for those people who last year was going to be their senior year and they played a year of junior college. So we don't know, and we might not know until some of these cases go to court, if they do go to court. But the problem is a lot of these cases won't end up going to court because the athlete's got to make a decision immediately. They've got to enter pro, or they got to just leave and go get a job, right? I mean, so we might not know that. That might not get resolved.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ross Dellenger, Yahoo, of course, on Twitter, X at Ross Dellenger. You can get him there. Do you like covering this side of college? Do you like covering games better?
I've really embraced the off the field stuff. I think that I think we're in a time in college athletics that's and sort of an evolution of the game more than we've seen in the past. And it's been fun, and it's been historic. It's been historic kind of to cover. And so I think that while I miss parts of in the off season spending time, and even during the season, spending time writing about players and coaches and features, stories, and all that fun stuff, right? I think that I can't ignore the news and the changes that are happening in college athletics, because it is a historic time, and these decisions impact so much.
Yeah. Last thing, you covered Les Miles, you covered Ed Ogeron. What are your impressions going into year 4 for Brian Kelly? Very broad question, but take it where you want.
Well, he's got one thing in the league that maybe a lot of people don't have, and that's a really good returning starting quarterback. So when you have that, and when you do what LSU seems to have done over the offseason in the portal, which is done really well, and seems to have the investment there seems to have increased pretty significantly over this offseason. You know, expectations, right, increase pretty big, and it feels like a year of playoff or bust. It feels like you got to make the playoff. It's kind of surprising that we're sitting here and LSU hasn't made the playoff since Brian Kelly took over. But
Do you think that's surprising, considering what he inherited?
Well, especially considering how they did the first year, you know, and had the track they were on. You're right; they didn't take over the greatest situation, but Brian Kelly's sort of track record, what he's done in what they did early on in his tenure, I think it's kind of surprising. I thought they were building up, you know, to a playoff. And heck, I mean, you look at it, right? They probably came within a game last year of making the playoff. So this does feel like a playoff or bust sort of season for them. And like I said, I think that people around the league here, I think people believe, even fellow coaches believe, that they're one of the top, 3 to 4 schools and the teams in the conference this year. And that should get them, if they live up to that, it should get them in the playoff.
He's Ross Dellenger from Yahoo. He's wearing a smoker's jacket right now. Very attractive smoker's jacket.
I don't have a old fashioned with me or a smoke, but sure.
You want to go get one? We can leave right now.
At noon?
I'm good.
At recording this at noon on a Wednesday.
Thanks for spoiling the magic of radio, Ross, and pointing out. And then you cursed.
I have to cut that.
No, we're not. No, we're not cutting
this right here.
We're keeping that in there. We're keeping it in there. Thank you. It's Ross Dellenger. We always appreciate Ross for his time. Doing great work, man. It is After Further Review. We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Of course, we're into getting close to another summer weekend. You're going to be spending that summer weekend out by the pool, grilling in the back patio. You need that meat to build a better burger, chips, dips, sides, party trays, anything. Making groceries, Rouse has been helping you do that for 65 years. Family-owned and operated, still family-owned and operated for 65 years, and great supporters of the home teams, like the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Voted the best supermarket not only in Baton Rouge, but in the entire Gulf South. It's Rouse's. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home. It's so interesting talking with Ross there about the Pavia rule, and more so, and even when I finished my conversation with Ross, he was sitting here, and he said, I just got another text from the NCAA. It was an NCAA representative. He said, and the rep told him, he showed me the text, that the NCAA won another case today against a player. And I can certainly understand and respect these players vying for more eligibility, because this will be the most lucrative time of their life. If you're a JUCO, former JUCO or former Division II, whatever it may be, and now you're playing in the FBS and you have an opportunity to make money playing college football, it's probably the time where you're not going to go on to be a professional football player, but it's going to be when you have your most value. So if there's ways that you can have legal injunctions or whatever the legal avenues to gain more eligibility, to make more money, I respect them doing it. But what it's fascinating, though, because the NCAA continues to lose NIL lawsuits, but clearly they are winning a lot of their eligibility lawsuits. See if that continues as we move forward. Okay, it's after further review. We'll knock out our final break of hour number 2. Our Hump Day shows are presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. That's yourgoodwood.com. Wrapping up hour number 2, Robbie Faulk covers Mississippi State. Will be here in a little less than 30 minutes from right now. We've already previewed the other 3 teams here today: Alabama, Florida, the Oklahoma Sooners. We'll take a look at the Mississippi State Bulldogs year 2 of Jeff Lebby coming up here in about 30 minutes from right now. Don't you move. It's AFR.
After further review.
glowresources.com. This is incredible just when you think about the sheer numbers of this. So on a given day, Glow Resources will conduct about 50 interviews with prospective employees. So you're talking roughly 15,000 interviews in a year that Glow Resources will conduct. 15,000. Not once have they ever had a negative review from one of their interviews. Not once, ever. They know the questions to ask. They are experts in their industry at helping find you the right people to make your business the most efficient. If you're not operating at max efficiency, it's probably because you don't have the right people. Glow Resources helps you find them. So check them out online at glowresources.com. GLO, glowresources.com. Glow Resources, complete employer solutions.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
With bold leadership and a growing population, Louisiana is rewarding excellence, attracting high-value companies, and fueling opportunity. Louisiana is winning now, and the sky is the limit. With every region and industry growing across a beautiful state that's more than a culture, it's a community with a quality of life that's more than satisfying. It's sustainable because the Louisiana you thought you knew is better than ever now. Come home, Louisiana.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. Live from the 2025 SEC Football Media Days, powered by Parish Construction and Roofing. Enter now for your chance to win $10,000 cash at parishbuilt.com. Our coverage is also presented by Rev and Relief Windows.
Yeah, Mike he's a talented young man.
a talented young man that has the ability to be a good player as he continues to grow with the position.
Jeff Lebby didn't have much to say about LSU quarterback Michael Van Buren, but Michael Van Buren was Mississippi State's quarterback a season ago after their starter, Blake Shapen, was injured, lost for the season. Van Buren ended up playing in 10 games with 9 starts, 1,886 pass yards, 11 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. He completed 54% of his passes. The interesting thing is that those numbers are almost identical to the numbers that DJ Lagway had a season ago, although the expectation for the two quarterbacks are dramatically different, probably rooted in what their recruiting rankings were. Now, we mentioned that Van Buren started a season ago because Blake Shapen from Evangel in Shreveport, who went to Baylor and then transferred to Mississippi State, was lost for the season due to injury. Shapen had a very clear stated goal for this season.
Yeah, I think for me, just staying healthy, I think that's the first thing that comes to my mind. I want to be able to play a full season of college football. Haven't been able to do that since like 2022, so that's the biggest goal for me. For our team, I think we just want to go 1-0 every single week. Don't look too far ahead. Obviously, we play a tough schedule, but just staying true to each week and being very focused on it individually.
Shapen played in just 4 games a season ago before Van Buren took over and started the final 8. Now, speaking of injuries to quarterbacks, DJ Lagway, who we mentioned, there is this conversation because he was limited in the offseason because of a shoulder. His coach, Billy Napier, gave an update.
Yeah, no, DJ has continued. We throw the quarterback 3 times a week. He's continued to do that. He actually got a good session in this morning before he came here. So, yeah, we feel confident in terms of him being ready to go.
That's pretty much anything a Florida fan needs to hear is that Lagway will be healthy and good to go. But for Lagway, he's trying to progress in the SEC from year 1 to year 2.
I would say the most challenging thing was really just, time management. Going from being in high school and then going to SEC big-time college football, it's a big difference, especially where I'm from in a little town, Willis, Texas. It's definitely a big difference. But, once I kind of got adjusted to that and adjusted to knowing the offense and, knowing where my people were at, and now that's why I'm excited for this year, because I know where my people at. Now I can know where the defense is at and get better at that. So, yeah.
Again, Lagway, very similar, 12 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, completed a hair under 60% of his passes, but a lot of room for growth here in year 2 as a starter for the Gators. They were 6-1 in his 7 starts. All right, put a button here on hour number 2 from SEC Football Media Days, day 3. We'll come back after the top of the hour, and we'll talk some more Bulldogs in about 20 minutes.
After further review.
Love telling you about South Point Volkswagen because it's South Point Volkswagen. I don't know, between me, Erica, the rest of our family, I don't know, we bought a dozen cars over the last 14 years from South Point Volkswagen. We've converted much of our family. I drive the Atlas Cross Sport. Erica drives the Atlas. My dad drives a Tiguan. My mom drives an Atlas. My cousin Steven drives an Atlas Cross Sport. I can go down the list. The bottom line is they're amazing vehicles. You get the great German engineering, all the safety features, the high performance, the great gas mileage, and you get it without the cost. You get a luxury car, the great German engineering, manufactured in the U.S. of A., so there's no worry about tariffs, and you get it without the cost. So if you want to shop and drive luxury without the cost, South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highlander, southpointvw.com. That's southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction?
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I'm Christine Lisi. Bradley Beal is set to leave the desert for Hollywood. ESPN's Shams Charania is reporting the shooting guards agreed to a buyout with the Suns, plans to join the Clippers on a 2-year, $11 million deal with a player option after clearing waivers. He's giving back nearly $14 million of the $110 million on the final 2 years of his contract to complete the buyout with Phoenix. The move allows Beal to serve as a major addition to a playoff contender in the West in LA and gives the Suns team-building flexibility, explains Shams.
Phoenix Suns are now officially fully out of the first and second apron. They can essentially decide, do they want to be a luxury tax team? They can even go fully out of the luxury tax this offseason. They also now unfreeze some of their draft picks, so they're going to have more tradable draft picks moving forward. And they'll have some money, too. They're going to have $7 or $8 million with their mid-level.
NFL charges running back Nagy Harris, who sustained an eye injury in a fireworks mishap, likely starts training camp on the non-football injury list. WNBA, Indiana's Caitlin Clark out tonight against the New York Liberty with a right groin injury.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride! Go!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. We are here from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days, winding down day number 3. Tomorrow, day 4, it's the Missouri Tigers and the Kentucky Wildcats kicking things off. The afternoon will be Arkansas and Texas A&M. Typically, the way the league structures this is they will try to put a heavy hitter at the end of the last day, basically to entice people to stay to the very end. I will tell you candidly, by the time you get to the end of day 4, it does thin out in here. A lot of times there are people who come specifically specifically just to cover the team that they cover, to be here for the day of the team that they cover. Some might look at day 4 with a lighter day, Missouri, Kentucky, Arkansas, and think, I'm not sticking around for that, even if Texas A&M is there at the end. But we'll talk more about Texas A&M tomorrow, and we'll have Billy Lucci of Texags with us. Chatted with Billy a bit ago earlier today. I do think one of the things I always come here looking for, asking, thinking is what is the team that maybe I don't know enough about that looks like they are ascending. A lot of people here this week, you've heard me say this, these are some of the narratives that build. Florida, South Carolina, Oklahoma are the teams that maybe a lot of people are thinking are going to take that next step in 2025. I don't believe that. I think each of them is a 7-win football team. And so I've been asked the question a bunch, who's the team that takes the step? It's just natural. Like, someone has to. I mean, not every team's not going to win 9 or 10 games. You're going to have a Kentucky that falters, a Mississippi State that wins 2 games. You're going to have an Auburn that backslides to 5-7 like they did. Oklahoma was 6-6. I mean, somebody's got to. But the team that might be ready to take that step is Texas A&M, because they might have the best offensive line in the country, and they got good running backs. And Marcel Reed might end up being a good player, and I think Mike Elko is a good defensive coordinator with some good talent on the defensive side. So it might be A&M the team that's ready to take a step from last year to this year in year 2 under Mike Elko. So we'll talk plenty about the Aggies on Thursday's show here from Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. We are brought to you here by our friends at the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020. In just a second, I had a chance to visit with Caleb Banks, the outstanding defensive tackle from the University of Florida. You're going to hear that conversation in just a second. But the Williamson Eye Center, if you want to see 2020, call 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. Just go for that free consultation with Dr. Blake Williamson. You will be thrilled that you did. No doubt you have someone in your life who has had LASIK and has told you, best decision I ever made, best money I ever spent, wish I had done it years before. I'm in that number. Wish I had done it years before. But for too many years, I was shoving contact lens in my eyes, taking them out at night, wearing out-of-prescription glasses, maybe sometimes forgetting to take my lens out and sleeping in them. Anyway, the hassle of it all, the inability to see, I don't have to worry about it anymore because I had LASIK 7 years ago. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. So you can do the same. Call 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. Caleb Banks is a massive human being. And you might remember that last year when LSU played in Florida, in Gainesville, it was the biggest blemish on that otherwise sterling offensive line pass protection record. The LSU offensive line a year ago struggled to run block. We know that. They were 104th in the country in rushing offense. However, their pass protection across the board was nearly immaculate. And you had Will Campbell at left tackle and Emory Jones at right. You had 2 really good interior players in pass protection, Miles Frazier and Garrett Dellenger. And, of course, a veteran quarterback in Garrett Nussmeier, who was smart with football largely and knew when to get rid of it to avoid sacks. The Florida game was a problem. And Caleb Banks was a giant part of that problem. Caleb Banks only had 3 tackles in that game. But one of them was a sack, one of them was a TFL, and he had 2 forced fumbles in the game. He was a problem. And so I had a chance to visit just briefly with that, right literally as I was about to start my show. Caleb Banks was standing behind me. I had a chance to visit with him for just about 4 minutes before they were whisking him away, and I had to come get live on the air. But a quick chat with Caleb Banks from Florida. All right, the massive human next to me is Caleb Banks. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How big are you?
Right now I'm like 6'6", 325.
Was it a pain for your parents to buy clothes for you growing up?
Yeah, it's kind of still a pain right now, honestly.
Yeah.
But
You're still growing?
yeah, hopefully, yeah.
What you got there?
The shoes or the size?
No, the shoes.
Christian Dior, something nice, match the time.
I tell you what, man.
Yeah.
You came clean today, man.
Appreciate it.
Came ready. You took out some aggression on the LSU Tigers last year. Did you feel confident going into that game?
Yeah. Coach Chapman, he helped us prepare for that game throughout the whole entire week. That was like one of his games he had pinned on his board. He had us fired up. He was ready to go.
Coach Napier did?
No, Coach Chapman.
Oh, Coach Chapman.
My fault.
Oh, yeah. So Coach Chapman spent some time at LSU. What's that relationship like?
Yeah, that's my guy. Coach Chapman's my guy. He's like a father figure. I say it all the time. He helps me in ways that I didn't know could be possible.
Like what?
Just like being a father figure. My dad wasn't there really, so he was helping me teach me how to tie a tie, stuff like that. Like just small things.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
You come off a season like you had last year, man. You go into a year like this. What do you work on?
Honestly, I'm working on my run game right now. My pad level, keeping my pads low, understanding the game better. These are small things.
Yeah. When you as a team look at this season, last year it was a really strong finish. Beat LSU, you beat Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of team goals do you all discuss this year?
We discuss a lot, honestly. Just being able to go out there and get the job done. Being able to communicate better. Having a better defense, having a better understanding of each other as teammates and coaches. Hopefully having the coaches put us in a better position as well too. So.
What's the best road venue you've played in the SEC?
Tennessee.
Why?
The atmosphere is a little different. I don't know. Yeah, their fans are a little crazy, like crazy.
Coming to Baton Rouge this year?
Yeah. I played there already. I played there already. Yeah, that's gonna be a good game.
They're gonna have that one circled, no doubt, man. What's been your? Did you get to eat out when you go to any SEC cities? Y'all just eating in the hotel?
In the hotel.
All right, you get one meal. What are you eating?
Steak and eggs. Before every game.
What? Okay, not just for a pregame. One meal, for the rest of your life. Favorite meal? What do you eat?
Steak and eggs.
Okay, what's your cut of meat?
I like what is it?
Ribeye, filet.
Filet.
You're a filet guy. You gotta try a ribeye.
Yeah,
way more flavorful.
Yeah.
I mean, look. How do you get it cooked?
Medium rare.
Okay, medium rare. That's where we got to go. Yeah. You need to go ribeye, medium rare. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, if you could have one pair of sneakers you don't own presently, what would you want?
Right now, I want a lot of pairs.
How many do you have?
Probably around 50.
Over 50?
Yeah, over 50. Yeah. I'm a sneakerhead. That's I love sneakers. I love shoes. I've always been in shoes since I was younger.
I got 91. I counted before I left.
Really? I had a lot. Oh, Jesus.
My wife had to clean out her closet, man. She had to give me space.
One shoe, I would say, does it matter, designer, Jordan?
Up to you, man. You call it.
I would say the Haagen-Dazs Dunks.
What? Oh, I'm starting my show right now. All right, I gotta go. Pleasure, dude. Thank you so much, man. Good luck this year. Be healthy. All right, man. Our conversation with Caleb Banks, he was blown away that I had more pair of sneakers. I think he was surprised that the short 43-year-old balding bearded white guy had more sneakers than he did. I enjoyed the conversation. I tell you what, though, he rolled his eyes a little bit at Tiger Stadium. Rolled his eyes a little bit whenever I asked him the best road venue. He said Tennessee. And I said, what about playing in Baton Rouge this year? And he rolled his eyes. Said, I already played there. I'll remind Caleb Banks that when he played there, that was the day when Jaden Daniels effectively won the Heisman Trophy. LSU put up 52, and Jaden Daniels was unconscious that day. His Heisman moments were that day against that Florida defense. That's going to be a key game for LSU early in the season in September with the Gators coming to Baton Rouge. And, I was asked earlier, what is, the most important game on LSU's schedule. And for me, I think we'll talk about this as we get closer to the season, but I think it's Ole Miss because of where it falls early. If LSU does drop the opener to Clemson, the home team has won the last 5 in the LSU Ole Miss series. And so I think that one's just critically important considering what you still have ahead, because you can't have 2 losses in September and realistically think you're going to find your way to 10-2 and into the college football playoff. So a massive game for LSU, week 3 at home against the Gators at night, retiring Charles Alexander's jersey, all that stuff. Tigers are going to have to get that one against Florida on September the 13th. I think they will. All right, it's After Further Review. Thrilled to have you hanging out with us here. We appreciate all of our great sponsors. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, our title sponsor every single Wednesday here. Make sure you check them out at yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. And, of course, Evamore, EVAMOR. I'm missing it, man. I've not been able to drink Evamore since I've been here. They're very kind to have a great refreshment category with bottled water and stuff. But even the bottled water that they give us, you can look at it. It'll say electrolytes and different things added for flavor. And when you're talking about Evamore, it's a natural artesian water. It is straight from the well through the filtration system, basically just getting the sediment from the well out. And then into the bottle, it doesn't touch air until you open it and take that first delicious sip. It's Evamore, EVAMOR, Evamore.com. Drink Evamore. Available at great local retailers and online at Evamore.com. All right, it's After Further Review. Also cool to hear a little shout out there by Caleb Banks for Gerald Chapman. Gerald Chapman, of course, was a great defensive line assistant under the Pete Jenkins tree, and was the interim defensive line coach for LSU in spring football a few years ago, and then didn't get the full-time job, went to Florida, so naturally had that one circled, and his defensive line showed out against the Tigers last year in the Swamp. Hopefully a different story this year in Baton Rouge. Okay, we'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, Robbie Faulk will join us. We'll talk a little Mississippi State Bulldogs. Tigers and Bulldogs don't play for the second consecutive year. Jeff Lebby, year 2. Just 2 wins a season to go. How do they build on it? We'll talk about that next on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siega near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. I tell you every day, buy local, shop local, and if you don't follow their Facebook page, you really need to. They do a great job over at Clegg's of updating the Facebook page every day. So whenever there's a new shipment of flowers, plants, trees, shrubs, anything like that comes in, they always do a great job to make sure they update the inventory and the location on their Facebook page. So make sure you're following Clegg's Nursery on Facebook. At any of the on Facebook and get by any of the Clegg's Nursery locations. Listen, we're still in the middle of summer, and even though football season is near, fall is near, we know that summer temperatures are going to be here still for months. If you want to beautify your outdoor spaces, add that pop of color, your bedding plants, your flower pots, you could do it, and Clegg's Nursery can help. And they've got the most friendly, helpful, knowledgeable staff of horticulturists over at Clegg's Nursery. So buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel.
Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. Live from the 2025 SEC Football Media Days, powered by Parish Construction and Roofing. Enter now for your chance to win $10,000 cash at parishbuilt.com. Our coverage is also presented by Rev and Relief Windows.
A reminder, we will be drawing for that $10,000 winner cash on Friday's AFR when we are back in studio. Go to parishbuilt.com to register, parishbuilt.com. And, of course, thanks to Relief Windows, Windows Door Siding. They do shutters as well, reliefwindows.com, and Rev Business. Let's Rev. Biz. Robbie Faulk joins us from the Maroon and White Daily. That's an On3 piece. Also the Starkville Daily News. Talk a little Bulldogs. Year 2 of Jeff Lebby as, man, they try to get this thing on track. It was a thank you for the time. How are you? You know what I'm going to do? Do the thing that
there you go. You might as well turn me on
3 times now, man. Anyway, the it's interesting to me because State, while has never been a juggernaut, goes without saying, went through a thing that I think would set any program back. Mike Leach's untimely passing. Zach Arnett was a stopgap, as we know, and the way they structured that deal didn't work out. It was a disaster. And then I think you got the guy you wanted, but, boy, trying to overcome the 2 years of what happened is difficult. So can you put some context, Robbie, into, like, just what Jeff Lebby inherited and how big of a climb this is for him?
Yeah, I mean, I think – we underestimated it, being close to the team and thinking you got pieces in place. Until you actually see it on the field, you don't really know how dire that is. I look at, how that team was built last year and the misses in evaluation and the transfers that left, and the recruiting classes were pretty much devastated at that point. You didn't have guys developing. I just think that he inherited a mess of a situation with that roster, and that's not giving him a pass. That's not doing that at all. But I do think that his hands were kind of tied a little bit with what he had there, specifically on the line of scrimmage. And Mississippi State, I mean, following the SEC West for many years and seeing Mississippi State every single year, State always was able to hold their own up front. If they didn't have anything else, they had a defensive line. They had 2 or 3 guys up front that could play, that could hold their own, and they have that track record in the NFL. Last year was the worst defensive line I've seen at Mississippi State, bar none, in my entire life. That's how bad it was, and it wasn't just a depth thing. They didn't have the talent. They didn't have the SEC players up front. So that first and foremost is a massive problem in the SEC. If you don't have defensive linemen that can create pressure, that can get to the quarterback, you're in trouble. That affects every single level of your defense. It affects your offense. Your offense has a lot more pressure on it to perform, and for Mississippi State, that offense had a lot of pressure to perform last year with the fact that their defense just couldn't get off the field. So I think that was a problem. The offensive line was not good either. So that kind of eliminates you from any kind of contention right there. If you don't have the line of scrimmage, you're in trouble. So what they had to do in the offseason, Jeff Lebby had to go out there and they had to go get offensive linemen. They had to go get defensive linemen. But they also had to take care of those other position groups. They went out and they got Luke Cromenhawk, who was a highly rated quarterback coming out of high school. he was a 4-star quarterback in the transfer portal. He started at Florida State last year. So you kind of replenish that room after you lost Michael Van Buren to LSU. You got one of the best running backs in the transfer portal. You got some wide receivers. You got some safeties. So it was a total transformation thing. They had to go to the transfer portal. They had to get rid of some players, quite frankly. They had to get rid of some locker room issues. And I think from just a stability standpoint of good guys, SEC caliber players, I think they have gotten better. But we'll see how much better that is. But I think this is a much better SEC football team than it was last year, for sure. I mean, it's pretty clear.
You could be better. The question will be like, how much better? How much is the climb? I'm glad you brought up Van Buren. He got to start 8 games last year. Or was it 7 games? Shaping.
It was
started the first
It was
4.
7 because it came in the fourth quarter of the 4th game. So
That's
it
right.
should be 7.
The 4th game was
Florida.
That's right. The Florida game. So his first start was at Texas.
He got the unenviable task of going to Texas, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Tennessee.
And he also had games against A&M and A&M, Arkansas, and Missouri mixed in there.
Welcome to college football.
That a babe kid. What do you think LSU's getting in Michael Van Buren?
I think they're getting a really tough kid, tough-minded, smart kid too. He's not afraid of anything. He went to Texas, and I thought he performed fairly well. There were some issues throwing the football a little bit last year. There were maybe some things that they couldn't do with him that they normally would do under Jeff Lebby and his quarterbacks. But the skill level is high. I think he is a guy that can do multiple things for you, and I think he's going to develop too. I just don't think he was ready. You're throwing a kid that was an early enrollee that was already kind of young to begin with, throwing him into the mix in the toughest part of the SEC schedule and one of the toughest SEC schedules in the conference. So I think that for the most part he performed fairly well. I mean, the numbers weren't eye-popping by any means,
Sure.
but you take away the numbers and you just look at the eye test and how he handled those situations. I thought that he did a very good job. So I think LSU's got a very serviceable quarterback. I don't know if he's the long-term plan for Brian Kelly, or I don't know what
I don't know if he knows either.
I don't know, but you added a really good athlete and a really good player to your quarterback room. You can't go wrong there.
I think they were just looking for experience depth in case if Nuss turns an ankle. And we'll see what the future holds there. Robbie Faulk's with us, Starkville Daily, also on 3 there. It's a maroon and white daily. You mentioned the transfer quarterback. Is Blake Shapen? He was here today. Is Blake Shapen the starter no matter what?
Oh yeah, that's Jeff Lebby's guy. That's one of the things he had to tell guys during transfer portal, and I think it's one of the things that hurt him probably with Jackson Arnold. And I'm not saying they would have gotten him by default anyway. I think that was going to be a battle with Auburn, but he was up front with guys like Blake Shapen. He's returning this year. That's our guy. And we would like for you to come in and compete with him. And if you compete with him and you beat him out, that's great. But I can't promise you a starting position because we have a guy that's returning from last year that we are really high on, that we feel like can run this offense the way that we want it run. So Shapen is Lebby's guy. I mean, he is, from the moment he was recruiting him in the transfer portal 2 years ago to now, I mean, that has been a guy that he trusts. He feels like can do everything that he needs him to do. And if he's healthy, I think he can be a good, solid quarterback. I think as far as ceiling, the 2 guys behind him probably have a higher ceiling, especially true freshman Kamario Taylor. I think that's the most talented quarterback Mississippi State's ever signed. I think Kamario Taylor has a chance to be special. But it's one of those situations where you would really like for him to use this season to learn and to grow as a quarterback under a guy like Blake Shapen. I think is a perfect situation for Kamario Taylor that Blake Shapen is here because he's a great leader. He's a guy that's not going to be jealous. He's not going to hold things back. His purpose, he feels, is to help Mississippi State win and also help the players underneath him. And that's one of the things I asked him today. And I was asking him about some things that he wanted to grow from last year. And one of those things was being a better leader and doing whatever he needs to do to make these players better moving forward. So I think he's perfectly capable of being a really good starter for Mississippi State this year.
Jeff Lebby came to Mississippi State from Oklahoma with the reputation of being a big old wide open offensive guy. Been with Lane at Ole Miss as well. We going to see some of that this year? Like, we can see more points?
Yeah, I think so. Year two, it really depends for me on the offensive line. I think the offensive line last year did not allow them to do what they wanted to do. And I think they would have been able to open it up a little bit more with Blake Shapen too. With what he does offensively, is a little better than Van Buren, a little more ready than Van Buren in the read option game when they incorporate that a little bit. And also the running game just was not ready in those first 4 or 5 games. I thought the running game got better as the season went on. So your hope is you have a really good running back room. I think it's a running back room that could be top half of the league, maybe the top 5 in the league with what they have depth-wise. That's a position group that is legitimately a solid, strong SEC position group.
We saw Fluff Bothwell when he played South Alabama in Tiger Stadium this past year. Who else is there at running back?
So Davon Booth is back, state's leading rusher. He got an extra year.
The Pavia rule,
Thanks to Pavia. And that's a guy that late in the year, I think he had 4 of the last 5 games, 100 yards rushing. That's a big pickup for Mississippi State to get him for another year. And then their second leading rusher, Johnny Daniels, is back too. So you bring back your top 2 rushers and then a really talented sophomore in Xavier Gayton, and then you added one of the top group of 5 running backs in the country in Fluff Bothwell. I think it's a really, really good running back room top to bottom, and they have a chance to do some good things. So it starts there. The running game really makes this offense tick. When Ole Miss was doing what it was doing under Jeff Lebby, look at what they were doing in the running game. A lot of people don't remember that because they remember Matt Corral and they remember the shots downfield with Elijah Moore, but a lot of that was opened up by the dangerous running game that they had. So I think that State, if they can get the running game going early, that's going to open up a lot of big plays for these wide receivers and for Blake Shapen.
Okay, Vegas has State's over-under at 3.5. 2-10 a year ago. How many wins are on that schedule?
It's tough to find more than 4. It's really tough to find more than 4, and 4 is going to be a battle too. You have the 3. You have 3 non-conference games that I think they should handle with Southern Miss, Alcorn, and Northern Illinois.
Okay.
Well, then you host a playoff team in Arizona State, which they're bringing back Samuel Evett, but I don't know how good that team's going to be this year. I don't know if that was a fluke last year or if they're the real deal.
I mean, they were picked last.
Yes.
And finished first.
And they were, and look at what they did. I mean, the hope for a lot of people is Mississippi State can kind of do what Dillingham did. I don't know if that's going to happen with the schedule that they have, but at the very least, you would love to make a jump from the 2 wins to 5. Could you find 5? That's going to be tough.
Yeah.
But if you can win your 4 non-conference games, I think you definitely start to get a little bit of confidence, and I think that matters. And then you go into the SEC schedule. There's winnable games, I think. You have Arkansas. That's a team that you've had some success with in the last 10 years. They whipped Mississippi State last year, but we'll see what happens there. Ole Miss is always who knows in that game. It's at home. So there is a path to 5 wins, possibly 6. 6 is going to be tough, but there's a path there. But I think they're going to win. I think they can get to 4.
He is Robbie Faulk, Maroon and White Daily, part of On 3, the Starkville Daily News as well, talking a little Bulldogs here. Tough climb for Jeff Lebby, but if he's patient, he could very well be the right guy there in Starkville. Thank you, man. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, man. Always
right.
good to talk to you.
You as well. It is After Further Review. Love telling you about our friends at Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. OLOLRMC.com/LSU is where you can learn more. OLOLRMC.com/LSU. Our Lady of the Lake, of course, the physicians there, the trainers, they provide expert level care for the LSU athletes on game days, on the sideline, at practices, post-operative, everything, the training staff. It's Our Lady of the Lake, and it's that same championship health care that's available to you and me every single day. I've shared so many times my own personal stories from my son being cared for at the Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital to me, my own personal physician, Dr. Curtis Chastain at the Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health Group. I trust my health with Our Lady of the Lake, my health care, my son's health care, my wife. You can as well. Convenience, access, it's the things that that everybody wants when it comes to health care, and Our Lady of the Lake, part of the Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady Health System, offers it. So you can learn more online. It's Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. Okay, y'all, it is After Further Review, rolling along here in hour number 3. Couple of segments to go. It's been a really good show already. We appreciate all of our guests that have stopped by today. If you missed anything, you can catch it on demand. AFR On Demand, presented by Brett Golf. But Tony Barnhart, Mr. College Football, was here. We talked to our buddy Jim Nagy, who normally is here with us talking Senior Bowl, but Jim Nagy's now the general manager of the Oklahoma football program. So we chatted with Jim in hour number 1. J.D. Pickell was here, picked LSU to win the national championship. J.D. Pickell from On 3 was here. Frank Frangie from 1010XL in Jacksonville stopped by to talk some Florida Gators. We had Ross Dellenger with us. You just heard Robbie Faulk. Our interview with Caleb Banks, the standout Florida defensive lineman. I mean, gigantic day. And when we come back, we'll visit with our buddy Cole Cubelic of Jocks in Birmingham, and, of course, the SEC Network. We'll continue. Cole Cubelic joins us next from Radio Row here at SEC Football Media Days. Stick around.
AFR.
Duplessis Builders and DuplessisBuilders.net. If you're thinking of building a pool, Duplessis Builders. Make it your first call. It'll be your only call. I love hearing so many of the testimonials from you who have taken my advice. I've heard so many times, Matt, I probably wouldn't have even known of Duplessis, wouldn't have called Duplessis, but for you, so glad I did, because Derek and his staff are awesome. See, Derek's background is in engineering. He is a mechanical engineer with a minor in aerospace engineering. He's working as an engineer, and he takes that background into every pool he builds, but he's also mastered customer service and knowing and helping you feel fantastic throughout the entire process because of the communication and the quality of work that they do. And remember, with Duplessis Builders, every pool comes with a 10-year workmanship warranty when the industry standard is 1 year. Check them out online, DuplessisBuilders.net.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Parish Construction and Roofing. This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs. From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, They've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. Live from the 2025 SEC Football Media Days, powered by Parish Construction and Roofing. Enter now for your chance to win $10,000 cash at parishbuilt.com. Our coverage is also presented by Rev and Relief Windows.
Cole Cubelic, SEC Network. Did you smoke a cigar in Atlanta?
Not yet. Might.
Where would you go?
Probably to the 50. Depends on how many we won by.
Set him up for it. But that's just so I can get him in a good mood before I have to ask him questions, and hopefully he'll answer really well.
So do you see the one when the last tweet you saw me reference that the guy was like,
really good.
You don't know nothing about winning in Tiger Stadium. Just drop the photograph on him.
That's a really good
That's all I got for you, bro.
I mean, I can laugh about it because I remember 2 years later in 2001 winning the West.
Somebody asked me,
smoking a cigar.
Somebody asked me, they said, you think anybody else ever smoked cigars in Tiger Stadium? And I said, only the whole crowd 2 years later.
Yeah, for real, dude. Like, that was an amazing night. But you know, I didn't know how to smoke a cigar at that point in my life. So I kept the remainder of the cigar. It's in a jar in my office.
Nice.
The remainder of the cigar, a chunk of the dirt from the eye of the tiger, probably my game tickets in there as well. And it's like 80% of the cigars.
The only thing I watched that game on
doing.
television. The only thing I remember about it is they kept panning to one dude in the crowd that like literally had a Looney Tunes cigar. Like it was this big around, and like he was passing around to his buddies. Like they had to just make it at home or something. I was like, this is incredible. That's college football, man. Like we love it.
Do you want LSU and Auburn to play?
Are you kidding?
I know, me too.
God, it drives me crazy. Everybody keeps asking me about what do you think about going to 9 games? And I don't know why, from the business perspective, we don't just see for what it is. That's the last bargaining chip the SEC has. If they want these media rights to go back up again, what are you going to do? Go to 10 one day? I mean, that's about all they have left. And so, you know, people say, do you want Auburn, Georgia to go away? Well, we've already lost Auburn, LSU essentially. And no, I don't want to lose that game. I don't understand why there's not a way to work it out. Y'all are pretty much the problem. Because you have 7 rivalry games.
Yeah,
we got to play for the Magnolia Flower. We got to play for the Golden Boot. We got to play for the shoe game, play Florida.
Gotta play. We should make a shoe trophy. That would be so good. No, but here's the thing. LSU's not the problem. The problem is Auburn, Georgia, and Bama, Tennessee. That's the problem. Like, if those games didn't have to happen every year just to appease those 4 schools, then we could have a workable solution. Like going a decade and a half without playing in a certain SEC stadium is ludicrous. I mean, it is a fundamental absurdity, but it's been that way.
Let me say this too, because I love people that take this mantra. We can tell a player when he comes to school here, he's going to play in every stadium by the time he leaves. First off, I never thought about that as a player.
I don't care about that.
I never played at Vanderbilt Stadium. And there's not a part of me that sits there and goes, man, if I just could have gone to Nashville. Darn. I'm trying to think where else I did not play. I think I played everywhere else. But I just don't like – there's no kid that goes to school and he says, well, I'm only going there if I'm guaranteed to play at SEC venue.
Here's my point in that. I agree with you, by the way. I don't think that's a recruiting pitch.
Well, half of them aren't even being in school that long anyway.
No doubt.
Or at that
especially
place.
Now in the portal.
Right.
My point is – I want some type of uniformity whereby you have equitable scheduling. Like, and to do so, you've got to move it around. Like what's happening the last 2 years is silly. Texas came into the league at a time where the schedule they were given.
Or even just Missouri's schedule the last 2 years.
Right. I mean, Missouri's got to be the quietest 10-win team ever.
But you also have to take into consideration that even by rotating, your powerful teams, that is going to rotate to an extent.
Sure.
So that there are going to be some, Kentucky wins 10 2 years in a row. People are like, how are we catching this Kentucky team 2 years in a row? Well, if it was this year, people might not be that upset about it. Like people who are always saying, can we just get Vanderbilt on their schedule? They probably don't want them this year. So
Vanderbilt's on LSU schedule, and I'm quite okay with Vanderbilt being on LSU schedule this year. Should it not be?
Vanderbilt ain't going backwards. I'm just going to tell you that.
So they're going to be 6-6 again?
I think they win 7.
Do you think they beat LSU?
Not right this second, no.
Yeah, me either.
That's in Nashville, right?
Yep. It's going to be an early game.
High extra beer, Nashville. They drank y'all out last time. Don't let it happen again.
It'll happen again. But it's going to be 11 a.m. That was 11 a.m.
I was going to say, what did that have to do anything? What, Joe Burrow throws 16 touchdowns in that game?
What is he taunting the Vanderbilt guy? Go like 5. He's like 5. That's so
awesome.
Good. So good. Do you so everyone asks this question, and I don't have an answer to it yet. I get asked, I'm sure you've been asked. It's like, all right, what team are we sleeping on? What's the team that you came in thinking less of, you leave thinking more of? I've been asked that a bunch. I don't have an answer. Do you?
No, here's the rephrase, and here's what I think is the better question. So you could take any combination of the top 4 right now: Texas, Bama, Georgia, LSU. I do think it's very interesting. I think you'll answer this question correctly. A lot of people have missed this, which has been surprising. When we come to media days and we're trying to pick who's going to win the league, if there's one thing we usually point at, what is it? With a certain team.
Quarterback, schedule.
You hit it the first time. Yet everybody here, Bama, Texas,
not me,
Georgia. I'm just saying that's weird. Okay, but let's just say those 4, you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, any of the 4, any of the 3, whatever. Let's put those aside. The logjam of what's next is incredible. Auburn, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Florida, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Missouri,
LSU.
No, I said you can put LSU with the other teams.
Okay.
Texas A&M is in that group. Okay. I could sit here and convince you they're going to win 10. I could sit here and convince you they're going to win 6 or 7. Now, I don't think Vanderbilt's necessarily there, but I don't know if Vanderbilt is where Mississippi State and maybe Kentucky is right now. Those would be the 2 that no one has real confidence in for sure, and most people here don't have confidence in Vanderbilt. So here's the question.
A big eye roll from our Bulldog.
They're going to be better. They will be better. Mississippi State's going to be better. Here's the question. Of that other group of whatever I mentioned, 8 to 10 teams, who's going backwards? Now, Tennessee's not going to be what they were last year. Ole Miss not going to be what they were last year. But I'm talking like who's going to go backwards because somebody is. They're not all winning 9 or 10, and one of them's going to win 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And who is that team?
Yeah.
Or maybe teams, plural.
Cole Cubelic, who do you think it is?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think Tennessee's going to be as good as they were last year. But here's the other part. I'll say the same thing about Tennessee and Ole Miss because everybody's like, Joey Aguilar is not Nico. No, I don't think he is either. When was the last time Josh Heupel had a quarterback that wasn't kind of good?
You see, man, kind of maybe like Hendon Hooker was awesome.
When was the last time he had a quarterback that was a problem?
Was Joe Milton any good?
Joe Milton did enough.
To do what?
They won some games.
But are you trying to win some games? You're trying to win a championship.
Okay, but they don't have everything around any quarterback to win a championship this year, I don't think. I think their D-line is going to be really good. I think the defense is going to be pretty good. They had a good group of tight ends. Running back's never been a problem. Austin Price put me in my place on that when we had him on his show, and I was like, man, I love Dylan Sampson's going to be tough. He goes, all right, let's go back. And he starts railing off these 1,000-yard backs under Josh Heupel, and I'm like, maybe that won't be a big loss. I mean, they've all run for yards against him. And so I just say, like, almost every quarterback he's had has been pretty good. Same thing with Ole Miss. When was the last time we went into a season and said, yeah, I just don't know if this quarterback gets it done for Lane? I mean, like freshman Matt Corral or John Rice Plumlee, they've all been good for him.
John Rice Plumlee.
They've all been good. Every single one's been good.
All I know about John Rice Plumlee is he ran for a bajillion yards in the second half against LSU in 2019. And he played baseball too.
He ran for 200 against Bama.
Oh, that's so
they
good.
Lost, but
I wish he'd do that some more.
But I'm just saying, Austin Simmons is not going to be a problem. And I don't think Joey Aguilar is going to win the Heisman, but I also don't think he's going to be a big reason that they don't win games.
I got 2 minutes. What do you use to shave your head?
Clippers, electric clippers.
You ever use
the Wall WAHL? I think it's whatever. I
use that handheld skull shaver thing.
See, I don't do the I don't shave it yet.
All the way down?
Yeah, I don't do that. And I know I probably should because the back, but what I do is I use clippers almost every day. So it doesn't look it doesn't look like Paul.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. The only thing we're trying to avoid is looking like Paul. So I think if you use the clippers every day, but these are just some regular Marantz. These are really not a big deal. I got these because my son had Marantz, and he was like, we saw them in the store, and he was like, Dad, get those. I have the different color of those. So I did. And they're actually super comfortable.
Do you think an SEC team wins the national championship this year?
If you're putting me on the spot and asking me to pick a national champion right now, I'd take Clemson.
Okay. You're the second person that I've talked to this week who's picked Clemson.
What other smart person did you have on?
David Cohn. Cole Cubelic, SEC Network. Thank you for the time.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
We will wrap up day 3 next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. Y'all, I tell you all the time with Darren, it doesn't matter if it's a $50,000 home, a $50 million home. Darren's going to work hard to get your home sold faster for more money. So the Wall Street Journal's Real Trends list of the top 1% of realtors in America, he gets to closings faster because he knows how to properly price your home, how to list your home. He's got targeted buyers looking for exactly what you're selling. I'm looking at this one right now. Just 2 hours ago, he posted on his personal Facebook page, 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,700 square feet in Central on Lovett Road. What a gorgeous property this is. Look at that porch, the gorgeous wood columns, an updated kitchen. You can check it out right now, and that could be your property being mentioned live on radio and YouTube and everywhere, being promoted with Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666 for Darren James.
Think real estate, think real estate.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
When you can't rely on technology,
you can rely on Mountain Cold.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
If I go to the LSU
Live from the 2025 SEC Football Media Days, powered by Parish Construction and Roofing. Enter now for your chance to win $10,000 cash at parishbuilt.com. Our coverage is also presented by Rev and Relief Windows.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on this Hump Day edition of AFR. We sincerely appreciate Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com, title sponsor of our Wednesday shows all throughout the year. Of course, we are only here in Atlanta bringing you this coverage because of our friends, of course, Parish Construction and Roofing. You can visit parishbuilt.com, our title sponsor of all of our coverage this week, parishbuilt.com. We will announce our $10,000 winner Friday in studio. So if you want to win that $10K, sign up for a free no-obligation roofing inspection at parishbuilt.com right now. Of course, Relief Windows, windows, door siding, they do shutters as well. Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com, and Rev Biz. Let'sRev.biz. Let'sRev.biz. Thank you to our sponsors who have made this week possible for all of us. Tomorrow is the final day here of SEC Football Media Days. The final four to go: Missouri, Kentucky. They'll be in the morning. The afternoon, Arkansas, Texas A&M. Wise, I would think, to have the Aggies to have an intriguing storyline there at the end, but for as much of a power day as Tuesday was, Thursday is certainly a lighter day with some teams where there's not a ton of expectation. And it's odd to say because Missouri won 10 games a year ago. They were 10-3. 9-3 regular season, won their bowl game against Iowa to finish 10-3. And that might be the quietest 10-3 ever. And that's what happens when you play Murray State, Buffalo, Boston College, Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, UMass, Auburn, Bama, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Mississippi State, and Arkansas. But Missouri and Eli Drinkwitz, who is 38-24 over 5 years at Missouri, entering year 6 there with hard to believe it's already been 6 years that Eli has been at Mizzou. Mark Stoops, a miserable season a year ago. They're looking for some type of bounce back. They're back in the portal again at quarterback with Zach Calzada, the former Aggie, former Auburn Tiger, now at the Kentucky Wildcats. Arkansas, is this the swan song for Sam Pittman, Taylor Green there at quarterback? And then the Aggies, are they the surprise team? Is Texas A&M the team in 2025 that takes the big leap into national relevance, maybe a team that could very well be competing for the SEC championship and a playoff berth? Texas A&M last season just 8-5 under Mike Elko, but could that be a team that pushes forward toward a playoff berth? We'll learn a lot about the Aggies tomorrow here on Radio Row at SEC Football Media Days. All right, that's just about going to do it for us. Massive show. Thank you to Mr. College Football, Tony Barnhart. Jim Nagy, the GM of the Oklahoma Sooners, was here. J.D. Pickell, Frangie, Ross Dellenger, Florida defensive lineman Caleb Banks, Robbie Faulk, who was just with us here moments ago, and Cole Cubelic of the SEC Network. If you missed anything, you can catch it on demand. AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. Muse, Paulie back in studio. Thank you so much. Y'all have an awesome night. We'll see you for our final day here from Radio Row tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about our friends over at First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com. firstsouthland.com. If you are thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit, because for more than 100 years, our friends at First South Farm Credit have done one thing, and they've done it better than anyone else. They help Louisianians buy land. So log on to firstsouthland.com. There's so many reasons to do business with First South Farm Credit. The patronage refund is something I tell you about every year. Last year, just this past year, they paid out $25.5 million back to their borrowers, which effectively reduces your cost of borrowing. It's First South Farm Credit. So log on to firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com to get started. Listen, Ben McDonald, the first pick in the MLB draft, his first call was to First South Farm Credit. So if you're thinking of buying land, make sure your first call is to First South Farm Credit. firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz vans.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wildin'.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast